Hello everybody and welcome to the fourth round of the Grand Touring Amateur League for 2010-2011. Joining me tonight is Oscar Hardwick, Simon Cattell and Dominic Engel. Now then, hopefully today, if you remember the last round of GTAL, we had, just before Christmas, we had 13 safety cars, I do believe, Oscar. Oscar, do you believe that we might get away with a little less safety car action today?
Well, I think that because this isn't Fernbay Black, that we'll definitely have less safety cars, and that will be, I hope, a long-standing record that isn't beaten anytime soon, and shouldn't be, although I'm not going to say anything about South City for the rest of this season.
It's been a mildly entertaining season so far, apart from the Fernbay round. We've had a good running at Kyoto and another good race so far. I hope that we'll have a better action for the viewers, not just a string of safety cars today. We've had Masters of Endurance since the last round of Grand Touring Amateur League. Yes, sorry, I was reading IRC for a second there. That's quite distracting when you see certain things going on the IRC channel. And that was a bit of a dull race at West Hill. So hopefully today we can serve up a bit of New Year action for the Live for Speed community and the wider audience as well. Chris Wilkinson should be joining us later on. We've no idea where he's gone. He's probably crying in a ditch somewhere or something about Sunderland's latest defeat. But he should be here eventually. I know everybody's missed his dulcet, wonderful tones from that region of our British brilliant country, and hopefully we should have a better race than we have done in recent races. And for some reason we've got something going on the tracker's being something's happening with the tracker on the VNC.
That's okay, as is always the case with broadcasts, Live for Speed, and pretty much everything that surrounds it. Fairly temperamental at times, but tends to work right when you need it to, or in some cases 10 minutes after the start. But today we have got that covered, with some luck.
So we're waiting for the grid to be completed, and then we'll be on our lovely long formation lap here at Aston Grand Touring Reversed. A new track for GTL this season. And we also have the delight of wind today. Oscar, how is that going to affect the drivers out there on track?
Well, I remember doing a race at Aston Historic Reversed, I think, last season with Simon, who's also with us here today, and there was low wind on there, and I hadn't done any practice with low wind before the race itself, and it does affect you a lot more on the new tyres, and the effects of it seem to wear off as you, well, A, get used to the wind, and then your tyres come into that good zone after the heat peak. So it will affect drivers and times quite hard for the first, I'd say, half a stint, but then probably wear off towards the end of a stint. Indeed,
I remember West Hill IGTC, that was fairly high amount of wind, and it was pretty hard to get the front of the car to actually turn into the corners at some certain parts of the track. So it'd be quite interesting to see how much wind we actually do get with this low wind sort of setting at the moment. We've got a bit of a problem at the moment. For some reason 29 is in the wrong position.
Yeah, there's been some talk between race officials and the number 29, and I think it's just to do with a bit of people being away from keyboards when there's the gridding going on. So there should be another 2 minutes of fiddling about with that, and then it should be sorted. And we now see Timu Evenen, who is one of the race controllers for today moving up the grid to put the Angel Power racing car into its respective grid slot.
Yes, of course, with the rules of GTL, we can actually only have low wind. Hopefully we'll get the higher spectrum of the lower wind today, so yeah, it should be quite interesting to see when this grid goes. But they're finally ready to go, and we are rejoined by, joined for the first time today by Dominic Engel of Sonic Realms Racing. Hello Dominic, you're normally driving in this. You're not today, are you though?
No, I'm not today.
Is it just can't be bothered syndrome or something?
Yeah, it's the can't be bothered syndrome I had since about the last week of 2010.
Well, there is that, and the fact that to some people at least this track is fairly horrible to be doing, whether they think that it's repetitive or just some corners don't suit them. Me, for example, I cannot get my head around this track whatsoever.
Only 2 miles an hour wind. Ah, that's a shame. I'm sure all the drivers will agree with me that that's a complete shame.
I think some of the XR drivers might be quite relieved them running R2s, which is hard enough of a task to do on this.
Yes, Dom, you'll know better than, well, certainly myself and Oscar, what the XR is like with wind. It doesn't really like it very much, does it?
No, I think the high centre of gravity the XR has in general sort of really hurts it more than most other cars in LFS actually, when there's wind.
I dread to think what it's like to drive them, because I've only ever driven the FZR in windy conditions during a race, so I wouldn't know the worst end of the spectrum, it would seem.
At this point I would read out the starting grid on this long formation lap at Aston Grand Touring Reversed, but for some reason our grid list isn't working properly at the moment. See if we can get that sorted. Alright, we found the related grid information. Thank you very much to Simon Cattell, who will be speaking in just a second. We have Raptor Racing on pole position, followed by Core Racing. Raptor have chosen the right-hand side, I do believe, for this first chicane corner. Genuine Racing are third, having, well, looked like they were going to dominate the last round at Fernbury Black. 1,000th of a second covers... No, so 100th of a second covers the top three on the grid. Just a tenth further behind them is Gravity, and the FXR, a quite startling performance from them before the first XR and Team Identity. Zion, 6th. Oh, hang on, wait a minute. They've actually pulled out of this race, haven't they? Wait just a second. No, apparently it was Lublin who pulled out. It's confusing between those two teams if you don't pay attention. So they are 6th on the grid, with Smoking Team 7th. The Danish Racing Team are 8th, with... well, the team formerly known as the Excite Inferno, now just known as Inferno. Drunk Team are 10th on the grid. Automotive Gods are 11th in their FXR, with Deep Drive Racing, a new team in GTL, lining up 12th. Empower Team are 13th in their XR, with Deadline 14th, Serbian Chrome Pistons in 15th. Tiger Express Motorsports line up 16th, before Gentles on Circuit in 17th. Crazy Drivers line up 18th, with Independent Racing Mates in 19th. 20th goes to the XR of Angel Power Racing with 7 Karat, right behind them in 21st, with Just Driving, our round 1 winners with a penalty in the qualifying session, lining up only 22nd. If they had not had that penalty, they would have been in the top 12 on the grid, but no, they're back down 22nd. Fubar Racing are 23rd, Speed Corner 24th, another new team, with E-Team in 25th, the series champions after a penalty from the last round, just like Just Driving did. Car Game are 26th after another penalty, and Great White North are 27th, with Lublin Racing and Sonic Realms 28th and 29th on the grid.
Not Lublin Racing.
Not Lublin Racing. Yes, sorry. Anyway, we're going for the start now. Falkenhayn waiting for the green flag to come at the start finish straight with Riegler right alongside. Riegler makes a fantastic start. It looks as though Riegler is going to be able to try and power around the outside of him into turn 1. Raptor Racing under pressure already. Here come Genuine Racing. They have to cut back a little bit. Gahammer, it's all getting very, very tight into turn number 1, but it's Sasha Riegler for Core Racing who leads. Looking further back now at the bottleneck into the chicane. Looks as though most cars are getting around the first chicane though.
Just driving us stuck in turn 1 at the moment. Must have had a slight collision, but we got the push car there, and it's just pushed him into the gravel.
Yeah, a bit of lag
nice
there.
little lag crash there.
Up at the front we have Riegler.
Raptor and Genuine are going side by side at the moment, going into long right hander and a bit of FXR wants a bit of action in this, which is Gahammer, but no chance of fitting 3 cars through there. And Genuine go up the inside and look to take the place of Sasha Riegler. Runs pretty wide in that corner actually, compromised his line slightly.
Contact between Identity and Scion for the long right hander.
So it seems the most smoking team flying into the wall.
That looked like it may have been due to a bit of contact and over-aggressiveness.
More contact with Runas now.
MG. Yeah, running into everybody it would seem.
There's a bit of lag on the surface now. One car is actually lagging slightly out the server. Looks as though he's going to get away with it though.
Yeah, smoking team were pretty impressive in qualifying yesterday there.
Sorry Simon, we got you Gahammer and Terzic battling over 4th position now into the hairpin corners. Looks as though Terzic is going to get past quite easily, and he has done. Terzic now defends the inside line. Gahammer in that, crikey, just completely ignoring the first hairpin corner there. That's going to get lots of gravel on his tyres. No chance of, even in an FXR, being able to power out the hairpin corners after that.
E-Team spin.
E-Team spin, says Dominic Engel. Quickly, on to E-Team. They seem to have got it all back under control now though.
Yeah, they've only lost 3 or 4 positions from that, although they're fairly far back in the pack anyway.
Yeah, it's been a dreadful week really for E-Team. The team's pretty much closing in, but they remain in GTAL, but without a proper team really, but started 25th after a penalty in qualifying, but yeah, very compromised week so far, and the spin really doesn't help towards that.
And we have now a 3-car battle between the Danish racing team, who are in the middle of it, the drunk team, and also I think it's AMG who are right up with them. Look at this, Hanger going for drunk team as Cullen goes for them. Cullen sensibly holding back at the moment, just waiting for a collision really, I guess. Hanger drives into the corner ahead of drunk team. Drunk team have to slightly get out of the throttle. Nice. Drunk team makes a mistake, and Cullen runs at the back of them. He should be able to get past them though here. And it was a slight error. I think he clipped the bale of hay. That's a bit controversial really. And behind them we have Empower and that
Team Inferno.
So it's Inferno.
Inferno are struggling for pace. Seems like they are the only XR on R3's front and rear.
But that probably means they can go an hour and a half like we saw last year with the guest team at AS4R. So they might only make 1 stop, so I would not count Inferno out, even if they're running R303's Dom. Oh, but a bit of a slide for Duvazal.
And any safety car that may come. And any safe car that may come out will just help their strategy even more, because you can save the tyres, save the fuel, and just go that little bit longer on the stint. Oh, it's Runas spins. Runas puts a...
And that smoking team caught up
with
in
him
it
as well. So.
That was definitely Empower giving them a hand round there. Not deadline team's fault at all. Although then coming through that corner, there's no real chance to do anything if you're too close to someone, so probably just a racing incident at the end of the day.
Now there's a 4-way fight building up for what seems to be 9th place between SR, Gentles on Circuit, Inferno and Empower.
Let's quickly shift to
Tormler
that.
underneath Junt. Oh, he's gone a bit wide, but kept it together.
You've got a nice run now on this straight, going into the hairpin, so it looks tuck into that FXI draft. The better straight line speed, it should be done before the corner, I presume, but takes what would be the inside for the hairpin. Looks like he cleanly takes the place. David Junt not really fighting that too much.
I should introduce you actually, by the way, Simon, because we didn't really get a chance to introduce you earlier on in the race. So Simon Cattell is with us, as you've heard. Simon, you've driven this track, I think, a bit, haven't you? So what do you expect today? Do you think the XR is going to have the overall advantage with its tyres advantage, or do you think the FSR should capitalise on its pace advantage?
I think they're all pretty close, but the XR should have that little bit of an advantage. Maybe not so much as last season when... Oh, and there's a little bit of a collision there between Serbian Chrome Piston and Independent Racemate, but yeah, there's... Compared to AS4R last season, which has got more quicker corners, it'll suit the other two cars slightly more, so the gap won't be as large, but should expect the XRs to be slightly quicker here, especially if they can run slightly longer in the stint. And also the only 2 kph win, I think it is, that should be even more beneficial for the XRI teams to be looking good today.
Yes, I should also bring Dominic Engel in that, because I know that Dom, you've done some testing for the setup that Sonic Realms are currently running, as we actually have a battle brewing, I think, for the lead between Regler and Genuine Racing. But Dom, do you concur with what Simon's saying? Actually, we've got a 3-way battle. Just a minute, Dom. We've got a 3-way battle. It's the 3 again. It's the Drunk team, the Hagner, and the Cullen. Sorry, no, it says it's Zion. Sorry, not AMG. Drunk team managed to get past Hagner again, now get past Zion again. So they're up to 6th position, I do believe that'll make them.
Yep, good clean pass, very good driving.
Pole position as well. Pole position, Falconhide is gone from this race. That's a very, very hard lines for him. New Master of Endurance winners. So back to what I was saying to Dom. Dom, do you concur with what Simon said, that the XR might be able to just stretch its tyres out that little bit further?
No, I think if anything the XR is worst off on tyres, at least when it's running R2s, because they get extremely hot here.
Yeah, if you go
looking at Turzic. Looking at Turzic's tyres.
It's really suffering massive problems, and I know that Team Identity haven't really put in much work for this race, so it's really a last minute setup work for Alan and Robin, who'll be driving today for them. But yeah, still doing quite good up there in 4th, and Raptor timeout again, just as they reconnect to the server, so I think that's pretty much race over as far as it's concerned, because they won't be too far from being lapped when they rejoin the track. It's very unfortunate there.
They should have about 30 seconds, so really they'll be looking for a safety car, I imagine.
Yeah, a safety car could bring them right back in it. Good job. No, go on.
I was just going to say that I think the only chance for a safety car at this track will be going into that first chicane XRR or something of similar gravel digging capabilities, getting stuck in the gravel.
Yeah, there are a few gravel traps here, so it's entirely possible, but it's the longest lap of the year, so it's 2 minutes 41 seconds a lap, so there's plenty of places really to get stuck, and also if you suffer a timeout, then you've got a bit more
he's timed out again.
Into the race.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, because he was just going through the first chicane, he got ahead of the leaders, and then it just timed out. He was perfectly fine and then just went. So that's really unlucky for Raptor. I wonder if they'll possibly just call it a day on this race.
Oh, we got car upside down. It's MG stuck in 8th place.
They are
the one curb, and that just went straight over. That'll definitely be a safety car out now.
That's a shame for them, because I was just about to say that they had joined in that battle, and so unlucky for Raptor. That's unbelievably unlucky for Raptor, because they would have got the safety car that they would have craved, but no, they timed out.
And they still haven't rejoined, so maybe they think it's race over as far as they're concerned. But yeah, also very unfortunate for AMG as well. They put on a reasonable showing in qualifying I think to get a 2 minute 41 second lap in qualifying is a reasonably good achievement, so as Raptor do now in fact rejoin the server.
A different driver. It's Wan rather than Falconine.
So
yeah, it's the only sensible thing to do.
Alright, so since we got a safety car here... Oh, sorry, go on, Dom.
So after about 13.5 minutes, the highest climb of the race is in fact SR, who are now in 8th.
And you just stole what I was going to say next.
And I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, right, no, I want to talk about tyre compounds, because I think it's quite interesting looking through the the field at the moment. Some cars have gone R3, R3 in the FSRs, etc. Some cars have gone R2, R2, and I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how far up some of these cars can make it by the end of the race. I'm looking at. It's quite. Who's that? That was an XRR, I think. Yeah, an XR. Inferno, of course, are on R3, R3. So yeah, I think they'll be quite interesting to look at.
It's very good when you've got this variety in the league, because with all these different strategies, you've got so many different possibilities for one team to just pop up out of the blue and really put in a strong performance. But there's even a few FZR teams that have gone for R2s on the front and rear, which I'm not entirely sure about with those rear tyres, but it's an option, and quite a few teams have gone for it, so they're obviously very confident.
Yeah, if I had been in an XR today, I would have gone R3, R3, and I'll tell you why, because I think that the XR should be able to make, on an R3, R3 set, an hour and a half. And that really does save a lot of time. I don't think the XR is so slow with R3, R3 that it's going to, especially with safety cars like we've got just now, they're not going to lose a pit stop, time-wise, to an FZR or an XR or an R2, R2. My opinion.
I'm not really sure about that, because I think you can really make up the time again with the R2 tyres. You'll have a lot more fundamental grip, especially at the end of a stint. You'll suffer through heat peaks slightly, obviously, but with the much nicer tyres at the end of a stint, you'll be really pending the lap times, and obviously taking on less fuel in the pit stop as well, and all these other factors which are just implemented into the race. And also with the very, very low wind, then it's not going to be a problem really to make the R2s last, which quite a lot of teams were worried about.
This is true. However, running an hour and a half on what are potentially more difficult tyres, that requires you to run that hour and a half perfectly, whereas other people are only keeping that solid concentration for an hour. And give or take the time on either side of an hour and a half pit stop strategy or an hour by hour pit stop strategy, I think it's just down to how conservative the R3, R3s set people in the XR are going to be. So you've just got to watch. If Inferno make a mistake, they'll lose the advantage that they're hoping to gain if they're doing an hour and a half stint. Okay, just gone past 15 minutes in, under our first safety car, and been a few major incidents, the main of which being the incident that's caused the safety car, which is the rolling of the AMG car number 18, which was being driven by R. Cullen at the time. We've also had a few touches between Smoking Team and Deadline Team, leaving both of them pootling around at the back, although hopefully we'll see a good fight back, so they were running strongly beforehand. There have been the odd other touches, some very close, good racing so far, and hopefully as soon as this safety car is out of the way we can see that good and close racing continue.
In fact, yep, safety car in this lap now, so we'll be quickly onto that. But yeah, really a tremendous start actually from Sonic Realms Racing, starting right at the back and already up to 8th place, which is a climb of 20 places, really quite astonishing. But we got a bit of bumping and barging going into the hairpin. Let's see if we can zoom the camera in on that.
This is a slow restart so far from Riegler.
Yeah, there was quite a lot of really slow cars going into the hairpin. It caused the cars to bunch up going into there, and there's a bit of server lag at the moment, so it's really causing cars to lag into each other and cause maybe even damage at worst, but it's not really ideal. But well, we're just about to go green now, so we'll be out of those problems pretty soon.
And Riegler gives it the big guns. He gives it the big guns straight off the hairpin. It hasn't really worked though, because Gahammer and the Genuine Racing team have been able to keep up with him, but I don't think they're quite close enough to keep the draft. Gahammer is going quickly for the deficit of Genuine Racing. Genuine just leave him enough room, but Hammer needs a little bit more for some reason. Then realises he's not over the start-finish line, so he has to back off. That was a bit silly, really, from Gahammer. That really, really cost him second position there by just deciding he wanted to come past, and then remember that you're not allowed to pass until the line there. It looks like a good clean restart. It looks like Hagner's actually had problems with Danish Racing Team off the first chicane. He's going back down the field at the moment. But it looks reasonably clean and reasonably spread out as Yapar goes off as well, so it's clean enough.
Yeah,
No one is upside down yet.
At the moment we've got Zion actually making a run on Identity, but give them a little... Oh, there's a little bit of lag there. A little bit of lag and... Oh no!
Oh my god!
That's so we've got two cars out of bounds.
A massive accident.
One car, sorry, but... Oh, that was a really bizarre
That's the
incident.
end of the race for Zion, it seems.
That was definitely a bit of lag on Terzic's part. He just completely lagged into
Oh,
the
he's
side.
lagging badly. He's the one that's lagging up the server. Well, then
really...
you got to feel for Zion there. That's for Terzic. Actually has rear suspension damage. I think the admin team will have to have a look at Terzic's car because he's going left, right, left, right, left, right.
Yeah, I mean that was also Empire as well. I'm surprised really they haven't really got that much cosmetic damage, but the car is bouncing around quite a lot. There's a lot of front cosmetic damage there. I'm not really sure if it's causing the front of the car to just touch the ground and other aspects like that, but yeah, very unfortunate. It was quite strange really because Terzic he was a good car length ahead of Zion team, and just really bizarre lag incident there. But as Zion was spinning, there was
and Empire who are passing them right now. It appears, although it's not actually showing up on the damage indicators, that their front dampers are completely broken.
They look fine for me.
Yeah, but if you just look at how the car behaves, it's just bouncing around, which it should do normally.
At the moment there's only one real battle on track, and that's Gahammer now on Genuine Racing going into turn 1. This is a battle for second place at the moment. Let's zoom in on this battle. Gahammer trying to go around the outside, but he's got the overlap going into the corner, and Genuine can see the place, and that's it. That's Gahammer in second place, and now free to go after Sasha Riegler in the core car. Nice clean pass there. Quite a few teams going up
has
to
a run on the drunk team car for 5th place.
There we go, going around the outside.
Oh,
there's been a complete, just a little lag crash there, and that's it. Tomlin's going sideways. Really unfortunate there for Yanni Tomlin because he made such a brilliant start and just worked his way up through the field, but luckily didn't suffer the same fate that Zion team did. Yanni Tomlin now down to 16th place, getting overtaken rather ironically by his old team. Yanni Torn is all over the place now. He's really burnt his right rear tyre. That's just completely hot there. They are running R2 compound, so it's very easy to just get a spin or something like that, and the strategy is really compromised.
I just watched Terzic with lag again. He almost speared full on into the side of Genuine Racing. And I'm hearing there's actually nobody from Identity actually bothered to go into the IRC channel today, so I think that could be a... Well, apparently I found somebody now. Going to Jonathan Palmer, but Terzic is really lagging badly. I think they've got to get him out of that car now.
Yeah, luckily he's got no cars around him at the moment. He's very much on his own, but it's surely, with a field this big, it's entirely possible that you're going to be in contact with a car very soon, and it's really not fair on the other driver.
Oh, we have a three-way scrap into the hairpin, and it looks as though Dolnick is going to try and find a way past the two cars in front of him. One is Car Game and one is Smoking Team, I think.
So we're hearing news from the admin team that there is now an order for team identities to switch drivers, because it's really becoming an issue now with Terzic's lag spikes. I've been in contact with him today actually, and he was lagging quite a lot in TeamSpeak as well, so it is a fundamental problem, and it's really only wise to get him out of the car, but with nobody else on the roster, it's it's going to be a problem for Friskops to do the whole race. Terzic, sorry, I'll just need to find a way of fixing that lag.
I don't think he's far off actually. The thingamajigger, the cutter, the cut-off point.
We've got a battle between Car Game and Deadline Team, just going into the coming towards the end of Sector 2 at the moment. Car Game on the outside, but Runas slightly backs off from that one and just lets go, but Car Game runs slightly wide. He'll have to get back into the slipstream and look towards overtaking in the hairpin. Good clean battle at the moment, but Car Game doing some very heavy front lock in there, and it's really hurting the tyres at this stage. Even now they're looking pretty thin, even with the safety car. In fact, well, some horrendous understeer at that hairpin. It's really doesn't look very comfortable to drive at the moment. Once again locking the front.
It's almost as though their brakes are on or off, like mouse or keyboard driving.
And Terzic comes into the pits now to do the driver change. But as far as I'm aware, I don't think that Robin Friskops, his teammate, will be able to do the rest of the race on his own now, because I'm pretty sure it's a 70% limit for what a driver can do in the whole race, and 2 hours and 30 minutes for a 3-hour race is nowhere near 70%, so at some point Terzic is going to have to get back in the car, or Team Identity will be out of the race.
We have a battle for the lead now developing between...
Massive crash.
Apparently we have a crash as well.
Yes,
it's
M-Power
and
Car Game.
But the lead battle, Riedler and Hammer go side by side into the long right-hander. Riegler just managing to hold the lead. Fantastic driving from Riegler, because I thought that Hammer would have been able to power around the outside and then hold the lead for the left-hander. But no, Riegler stubbornly defends to hold the lead for Core still.
Incredibly close race in there, side by side through the whole corner there. It was really great driving for them to still be alive at the exit of the corner. And all this is doing is allowing Genuine Racing to close in, who are currently in 3rd place and have looked pretty strong all weekend. Or week, rather.
But yes, M-Power did achieve... Oh, there's been a spin back in the pack.
In fact, M-Power have got to absolutely destroy Runas.
Runas has spun. somehow and in some incredible fashion. Yeah, I would call that a black and orange flag and send them to the pits with damage like that. Looks like they've got their lower wishbone.
Not a very fun race for Empower so far. It's been a disaster rather, but yeah.
The battle for the lead is intensifying. Sorry, I think Gahammer's going to be very, very close to Riegler at the hairpin. Here we go then, Sasha Riegler and Gahammer.
Look at
the FXR! Look at the FXR! That hairpin, magnificent.
In fact, Sasha Riegler,
jumping over the curves.
Spike problems. I saw his brake spiking on the exit.
Oh yeah, and his clutch.
Problem all week. I've clutch as well. Well, that's really going to compromise him on the straight.
I'm sure I just saw his clutch going up anyway. But here goes Gahammer. Gahammer going for lead. Can Riegler hold it right around the outside? That would be very, very brave. Of course, no, just lets him through.
He yields. So we've got an FXR leading at Aston. Not very common that you see that, but yeah, really great stuff there for Gravity. A very bold pass at the inside there, going into turn 1. Really, really good stuff.
7 carat off after the first chicane.
Sean Williams also. He was on the E-team roster, but is now in 7 carat. Made his 7 carat. Sorry, has now made his. You're allowed to make one switch during the season from one team to another, and he's now fulfilled that. And also we got E-team off apparently.
That too will have been through the first chicane, if anywhere. Friscops is right on TCRV at the...
Yep.
Oh, I probably said that wrong, but I'll go with it. That's Team Identity and Smoking Team. It looks like Team Identity have easily made that move around the outside.
Yep.
Huge
got the
difference there.
Yeah, XR is very, very good, and the straights FXR has really got no problems. He's got a lot of problems, I mean. Unless you're Sasha Riegler at the front with your brake spiking. In fact, Sasha Riegler is actually looking again up the inside. He's obviously not very happy after being overtaken.
Oh no, that wasn't as bad as I thought. Looks like this is going to be a move for the lead then.
Yep, there we go, side by side. You can luckily stay with this one. But Sasha takes the place. So the superior straight line speed obviously making a difference. FXR's got good traction out of these corners though, so it may not be over yet. We've had a spin apparently from Speed Corner. Speed Corner were up in about 15th, I think, and they've had an off-track movement there. Completely destroyed the front tyres as well. Something that were obviously not very. It won't help them very much in the stint with the R2 tyres. But Genuine Race is absolutely flying at the moment. 42.1 fastest lap of the race, closing on the two battling leaders at the moment.
Dozal causing a yellow flag for Frodo. He's been off in the first chicane. It's not really.
He's hit pole. He's hit the pole. His front left suspension is completely broken. The low wishbone got really damaged. That happened to me in the test race yesterday, and I'm almost guaranteed that's what happened in that corner there. Must have gone flying through the air and hit the cone and just completely destroy that front left suspension. So yeah, that's a really, really tough blow, especially in turn 1 as well, because he's got the whole lap to do. We've got
Runas again.
That's what I was talking about, running the R3 setup and going for a longer stint, is that if you haven't a mistake like that that's going to cause you to pit beforehand, you lose the advantage that you're trying to gain, and then you're left on R3s with everybody else on much higher grip levels.
Indeed, you're right, Oscar.
So
Gotta say that layer is pretty interesting. I haven't been about all week, and That's a fairly interesting layout.
In fact, Dalzar goes flying into that corner. Jan Lampard not aware of the damage that he's gotten, just staying behind him for a very long time, but really not very sensible driving to go into the corners like that with a completely broken left front suspension.
And there's no way he can continue on with that damage.
What is it with Michael Booth sort of effect? Last race you drove for Gentles on circuit and they had a season best performance, and suddenly we've got an FXR Tiger Express up in 7th position. What's going on? What's going on?
In fact, Jan's been going pretty well recently. He's recently started using pedals, which gives him more range in traction zones and places like that. And it's really doing the business at the moment. He's been far quicker than he was before on just singly a mouse, and I've been 7th place, but yeah, the curse
seeing
of
Jan do seeing Jan do a few ITCC practice things here and there, he's just so on the pace in the FXR. Like, he's very at home with it.
And back at the front we have Hammer attempting to catch back up to Riegler again. Just like qualifying, we're seeing a pretty close race at the moment. We've got 5 cars right in striking distance of each other, and all the way through the field we've got interesting battles here and there, close racing. So it's been fairly interesting so far, and without the safety car drama of Fern Bay, touch wood.
Hammer actually almost beat the fastest lap on his previous lap, so that's just confirms
Yanni
that.
hasn't beat it. Yanni very quiet after the previous incident.
Oh,
So goes off at 21. Independent racing mate. No, we got speak.
Oh, this has turned
got
into a rally
that
cross
team.
competition. 3 cars off in turn 1 in a row all the way up the hill.
Yes, I was just about to say about Torbola, he absolutely is destroying that first chicane. I don't think he's got wheels on the actual ground when he goes through it most of the time. Stunning to watch, but sometimes it does go a little bit wrong. As just behind them we have Just Driving attempting to overtake for 11th position.
Yep. Going up the inside of Deep Drive. Deep Drive not really fighting the position, just happy to concede it. We've also got the Smoking team going down the inside of Crazy Drivers, but Crazy Drivers holding it around the outside. Very brave stuff there.
And further behind we have Gentles on circuit. Whoa, Gentles on circuit been hit on the straight there.
So we're going 3 wide into that corner there. That's very Larry stuff. Also Donnelly honking the horn there, not very happy with Speed Corner's line through that corner, completely chopping off the nose of their car.
Yes, you weren't happy with Speed Corner in qualifying, were you, Dominic?
No, not really. And I early on saw them having, probably more fun with the Angel Power car. Ooh, as Donnelly almost spins.
Hammer closing again through the tight corners in the Sector 3 complex. Really does suit that FXR. May be able to get quite close if he gets a good drive out this final corner, which would be turn 21. And so it's Drunk Team that are the first team to break into the 41s for this race with 38 minutes in with a 41.96. Only 8 tenths off the pole position lap as well, so times are coming down.
Oh, Tormola!
Just caught that on. I just switched the cameras. Just as Tormola did that, he's been taking a very risky line through there the whole time, as Chris pointed out, but...
Oh, that's
front left damage.
Left front suspension damage.
Yeah, left front's gone.
I'm not a fan of that layout. I think that's a disgraceful layout. I think I'm fine trying to stop people cutting the corner, but that's a stupid layout.
If I remember correctly, had a similar layout during the restriction testing, and we didn't have the hay bales, but we had the poles. And whenever someone sort of went over them with like all four wheels, it just completely damaged the suspension.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that layout. Look at the lock Tomlin's having to put on his car to make it turn.
He's just going too quick into the corners, that's what it is. He's taking a high-speed entry, and then he's having to brake mid-corner just to get the thing turned in. He's hurting both his front left and his front right as well. It's really, really not optimum. And there we go, straight off again. You've really got to slow it down. You cannot be driving like that. You're just going to make the tyres even worse than they already are, and they're just not going to grip. But this also puts Sonic Realms in a pretty bad strategy, because they are running R2 tyres, which are meant to run at maybe 1 hour to maybe even 1 hour and 5 minutes. They can't really run the rest of they'll have to stretch it pretty far to get to the 3 hour mark. They'll be looking for 1 hour and 10 minute stints. And 1 hour and 10 minute stints on R2s is really going to be a tough job, but let's just see what they can do.
Tomlin's tyre's gone. Tomlin's tyre has gone now on the left front. And we've got a big car!
Oh!
Big car lag! Oh, crikey! Server lag again. Lots of lag. All the cars suddenly disappearing, flying through the air. The speed corner spun there.
I'm not very impressed with this driving from Tomlin. He's been just going way too quick into the corner. It's not very sensible, but
I don't think there's anything he can do with it.
I don't think there's much he can do, to be honest. Look at that.
He cannot turn the car at any speed.
Well, yesterday I drove a lap that was 30 seconds slower than what a normal lap would be with a front left puncture, and at the moment he's looking like he's some way off that.
Yes, but Simon, certainly the difference between Dozal's damage and you have to watch yourself down at the pit entrance. The difference between Dozal's damage and Tomlin's damage is Tomlin only had lower wishbone damage. Look at that toe damage. Look at it. It's awful. I'm really not a fan of that layout. That's a disastrous layout, in my opinion.
I don't know. I think it's a really great challenge for the drivers. I mean, to balance that risk with reward of hitting the corner right, and you've really got to cut the curbs as much as you can, because you'll shortcut the track and you'll gain yourself lap time because you're not driving as far. But it's just about that balancing of risk and reward, and that's what separates the good drivers from the bad. Well, a rather harsh analogy, but yeah.
Well, I just think
it's a challenge.
We all knew what happened last time. We had a very, very nice chicane on the GTL calendar last round of
When was that,
Black. It got voted the least favourite corner of the year.
It's a shocking corner. The Fermi corner is a shocking corner. Simon, you rolled there, didn't you, Simon?
If I think back to that, I think you're right there, Chris. I did maybe roll the car. Yeah, the old FE Green chicane doing its favours.
Oh, and Speed Corner apparently have spun yet again, which leaves them with very, very, very hot rear tyres.
You must be loving this, Dom.
Oh, we seem to have another three-way battle. Is that the Angel Power car? I think it is. It's car game as well, so we'll go to that battle. This is battle for 16th position into the final sector.
Yeah, it's been really tight in the midfield at the back of the pack. There's been quite a lot of battles going on, but yeah, we've got another one. Donnelly getting very sideways at the final corner. That just allows the FXR with its better traction to just swoop past. But with the XR, he'll be looking to tuck back into the draft and get the run going into turn 1. But we've got Sasha Riegler off. Race leader Sasha Riegler has had a crash.
How has he crashed there?
He's picked up no damage.
I suspect he went over that curb and completely lost control.
Yeah, it was just at that area, so it is possible. I thought it might be more just a little bit of a collision between the two, or maybe lag on the straight.
I don't think they were that close. I think. I'm not sure about that, because I think. Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Sasha did get the fastest lap, so I think maybe we're just a few seconds apart, so maybe Dom's right.
I saw him rejoining though, and he was going a bit of a pace. I wonder if he's had an LFS sort of minimise or something.
What is the body of his car is not really too damaged, which
he hasn't actually, he's got tiny damper damage. So I don't think he's got. I don't think he might have just clipped the curb, but that normally gives you damper damage, I'm sure, doesn't it, Dom?
Usually should. It does when you go around the track and over that curve the normal way around, but I don't know.
Oh, apparently there was. Sorry, Dom, to interrupt. Apparently there was contact with Gahammer, so Gahammer must have had a hell of a lap to be able to catch up to Riegler, or Riegler did make a mistake. So something did happen then. And look at that, because the Danish racing team and drunk team. The Danish racing team have dropped back a little bit. They were quite a bit ahead of this battle, or the drunk team even.
On the stream there, you just saw a smoking team, independent racing mates, and crazy drivers getting very close out of the long left-hander. Didn't quite catch the start of that, but I think it was crazy drivers that overtook both of them. So it's, if I'm right, that was pretty good driving there to overtake two cars. We've also got Riegler and Drunk Team going side by side into turn 1, but a little bit of a collision there as well. So I think Drunk Team are looking at the cutback mid-corner, but I can't really see that being done. I think Sasha Riegler was just holding his line and wasn't really doing anything out of the blue there, so a bit of a surprise there.
An eventful few laps for Sasha Riegler there.
Absolutely.
I think that safety car really. Where was the contact?
Race cops and Yap on the straight.
I think they were just lifting off there.
Identity back into the top 10.
Yeah, relatively strong performance after rather unscheduled pit stop to make the takeover for Terzic's lag. David Junk getting very close on the back of the Fubar car at the moment. I'm pretty sure he just lost the place there and going into a long right-hander. He's also got Raptor Gaming just behind him, but they are a lap down. But I imagine they'll be quite keen to unlap themselves and maybe get themselves close to the lead in case of a safety car. And there also Runas is going up the inside of Car Game. Runas has been on a really charging drive in the last few laps after the early collisions that he had. He's been driving pretty well after those setbacks. He's up in 16th place now and got some nice clear track ahead of him. So we'll be looking for some clean, fast laps at the moment as Gahama retakes the fastest lap. 41.34 is very, very quick for an FXR at this point in the stint. He's doing a very good job up there in first.
Yes, you could almost say that Gravity, having had a smashing second half of the season, having been new entrants, had a bit of a disappointing start to this season. I thought they'd be right up there, especially at Fermi Black, but instead they ended up having a bit of a disjointed race. As we approach the first round of pit stops, some FXRs are really having low tyres at the moment, I've noticed, which is a little bit surprising. I would have thought they would have had better sort of tyre. Oh, we've got a car, speed corner with a tyre.
That's good. Yeah. That's not going to be fun to get back to the pits.
He's only got a straight to go.
I think he got that left rear puncture going into the hairpins. Maybe he got it in the braking or in an acceleration zone. Oh, and he's on the grass. And he's lost it. Will this be a teammate joining the server to take over the car? He's on the grass again.
Oh dear, oh dear, what a numpty we've got. We've got an Andy O'Brien numpty. Numpty.
Up to his old tricks.
Being stupid.
And
Team Myers aren't even in this race, so quite what are they doing, I don't know. Anyway, Dom, take over.
The genuine car looks like it's catching the Graf racing car now.
Yeah, Gahama's had a slightly scruffy lap at this point, and Genuine have been able to close in, despite Gahama getting that fastest lap not so long ago.
Well, I guess, I'm sure you guys will agree probably that the FXR tyres get really cold at the end of a stint, so I imagine it would be quite hard for Gahama at the end of this stint compared to the apparent warmth of the genuine racing car.
Yeah, that was something I was going to bring up actually, but there was some incident which distracted me, and that is, yeah, the FXR is four-wheel drive, and it's really hard to slide the car and heat up the tyres in such a way that you could with a rear-wheel drive XR or FZR, so it is a bit of a problem at the end of a stint. We'll see lots of FXR teams with blisteringly cold tyres at the end of a stint, and the FZR teams and XR won't be suffering from that kind of setback. So Sasha Riegel with the fastest lap, 21.24. After that earlier incident, he's closing in on TDRT at the moment.
Yeah, looking at Gahama's tyres right now, they are losing temperature very, very quickly.
Yeah, luckily he's got the high-speed sections to heat the tyres up again, but it's definitely a worry.
And Hagner's tyres as well, in third position for Danish racing team.
If anything, they're probably worse than Gravity. It is a problem for them to consider, but FXR does have its advantages, but yeah, obviously not at this point in the stint. No, this is just allowing Genuine to close in the gap just very, very slightly. They've kept the tyres in good condition and they're looking very quick at this point.
approaching an hour. God, in this race, we have a battle for the lead. It's pretty close down to third spell. Not that much distance. I think let's find out what it is across the lines. Only 6 seconds covering the top 3 with Core right behind, and then Trump not that far away as well. 11 seconds covering the top 5 with Sean Williams for 7 Karat in 6th. So it's been an entertaining, reasonably entertaining start to this race. Very close racing, and only one safety car. Happy days for that.
Touch wood.
Touch wood. Jonathan Palmer says, one too many. Well, okay, Deco. Go have a sandwich. No, we're not going to start sandwich discussions like we did massively during the last week. Genuine Racing really all over the back of Gravity now.
Yeah, I just saw at the corner of my eye Gravity really flying over the turn 1 chicane, and naturally went off the road at the exit, but Genuine just weren't close enough to really capitalise from that, but really flying over there for the FXR. I haven't saw too many FXR teams being too aggressive over the curves, because it does have a tendency to sometimes hurt its left rear damper, and also maybe even lose momentum going into the corner. As we've got one of the front runners will be in the pits this lap. It's Timo Hoover, has joined the server for 7 Karat and then leaves again. So it's been a fairly quiet race so far for Sean Williams, up in 6th place for his first race for 7 Karat. Not officially a member of the team, but on the roster nevertheless. He's currently flashing his lights at the back mark, obviously not happy that they may be obstructing him at this point.
That looks to be... Oh, come on, don't let
Dead's
your mind
Empower.
defeat you.
It's Empower, not really getting out of the way of the 2 leaders there.
Yeah, speed corner. That's what I was looking for. It's almost a...
Oh, Sean Williams is lagging
Ooh.
out. Oh no, he's bad.
No, he hasn't.
Well, I was looking at the wrong car there for a second.
Yes, he has. No, he hasn't. Yes, he has. Or will that just be the one-off lag spike that we see from him?
Very conservative and careful downshifts from the Genuine Racing car at the moment. From Heiserman.
Well, that's a
very
good
cautious.
idea.
Yeah, he's not really
early in the race.
Yeah, he seems to be taking it very, very easy at the moment. As though he knows that there's time for him to sort of pick his moment to take the lead of this race. Because at the moment it seems like the Gravity car is a bit of a sitting target at the moment, as we have an FXR with a puncture 8 car game. So just what I'm saying about the FXR getting very, very light on tyres at the end of a stint.
Well, let's not forget that Car Game were the FXR that were locking up their fronts violently for the first half of this first hour, and so they had already torn their fronts to shreds and had no chance of keeping them for the rest of their stint. They've got up because they've got a flat.
In my... and we've got Heiserman right up the back of Gahammer. Gahammer makes a small error into the hairpin. Now then, the battle for the lead is joined. Heiserman to the inside for the quick left-right. Can he do it for the lead? And Genuine Racing take the lead of round 4 of GTL 2011. Gahammer right up over the curb. Can he manage to come back at him into the hairpin? It looks as though Heiserman's going to stay left, but Gahammer is swinging to the outside of him. Heiserman moves across him, but Gahammer just keeps the throttle on and takes the lead back straight away. That was a bit of dangerous driving there from Heiserman, but Gahammer stuck it out and kept into the lead. Gahammer with a bit of a drift around the hairpin, but nothing that Genuine could do. And we have a retirement from the Inferno car, so that's our championship leader's gone. So a complete disastrous race for them. I wonder what happened. Somebody want to check quickly on the replay?
Unless he just had enough, because he did get that suspension damage in turn 1 and maybe he just got tired of really racing. Oh, Yanni Tormler times out for Sonic Realms. So that's the second place in the championship. In fact, leaders are Inferno. So the the two championship leaders now really out of contention. Isaac quickly joins the server and leaves the pit. But will he be a lap down? I think he will be, because Yanni timed out just at the end of the lap. That's really unfortunate for Sonic Realms. And well, yeah, now a lap down. Unless Isaac can make some really quick laps now, and as the leaders come in to make the pit stops, and he'll overtake them again, and if a safety car comes out, then it's entirely possible that he can catch up the field again. But it's all what if, and he hasn't actually got a skin on, according to, I don't know if that's just my screen, but a white car.
He has a skin on. He has a skin on.
Ah.
He unfortunately has yellow wheels with a green skin as well, but he has a skin.
As Nico Demek joins the server, I believe, to take over the car of Gentles on circuit. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You are entirely correct, Oscar. In fact, I'm just looking at the point standings at the moment, and it's quite interesting because the top three have all had disastrous races, and the Danish racing team, who are 51.5 points behind, can really put themselves right in contention for this championship.
It's quite funny that it should happen at a track like Aston, which really shouldn't suit the FXR that much.
And did anyone just
Sasha
get pushed off by a backmarker being M-Power?
Well, Empower they were in that zone, so I'd imagine it probably would be.
Yeah,
in fact, that's definitely Empower.
Yeah, there was a bit confrontation though, really go that deep into the corner just as Sasha was going up to lap them, not particularly.
Well, I'm not convinced on what the rules are as to whether it's the car behind that needs to be making the move, or whether there is an obligation to move aside. Because if there's that obligation to move aside, then
if the move is made, then they move aside. And they're not supposed to repass, sort of thing. So
I don't think they can really get told off for that then, because Sasha was around them fairly late on, pretty much as they entered the corner. So and Sasha Ryker dives into the pit lane.
Followed by Tormler reconnects,
and then doesn't.
Disconnects straight away, obviously aware that Isaac's now in the car. But both Gahammer and Heigeman stay out and do not pit, so I'll be pretty sure. Oh, in fact, Genuine's next drivers have joined the server, so pretty sure that they'll be coming in the pits this lap. No sign of a driver yet for Gahammer, but still quite a long portion of the lap left to go.
That Gahammer's still got plenty of rubber on his tyres.
And yeah, Core and just driving in pits as well. Also Serbian chrome pistons. So it's quite a busy pit lane at the moment, but we have passed the 1 hour mark, which is a good benchmark for most of the teams. So Core Racing rejoin the field in 9th place.
Hyman actually has to be careful now to not leave a too big gap to the Graf car, because yeah, he'll have a longer pit stop because he has to put more fuel in on that FXR.
As Larenus Matonis takes over from Joel Villa for E-Team.
We've received a report now from Jonathan Palmer that car 27 will be assigned a drive-through penalty.
That is for they've added another driver to their roster right after the race starts, so that's why they're going to drive through. I'd imagine because Turgid's lag.
Yeah,
It's stop go,
penalty, but
because Turgid's lag, I'd imagine, can't be fixed.
yeah, it's the only sensible thing, really.
So, Genuine Racing presumably going to be diving into the pit lane this lap. As Dommy said, they need to be very quick on their outlap. Otherwise, they will lose time to Gehammer, as the FXR has a shorter pit stop due to better fuel consumption. Or fuel economy, even. What?
Alright, so this will mean that they will have to push as quickly as they possibly can to get out of this pit stop. Here they go. A driver change as well. Shine takes over for Genuine Racing. He's really got to put the hammer down.
Promise there's a lot of traffic
put the hammer. He's got to put the hammer down on Gehammer. So to ensure that they will be within a couple of seconds as they come out the pit, and hopefully try to pressure Gehammer into a mistake as Isaac Price goes off in the lap Sonic Realms car just ahead of the race leader, or well now 5th position after that pit stop, but the around race leader. Could that mean that Jan Lamprovot leads the race? If Gehammer comes in the pits, Jan Lamprovot could lead the race. The Michael Star effect.
Jan has better tyres than Gehammer at this point. Gehammer's got a fairly thin left rear.
Unbelievable! Oh, so look at his left rear.
Is this Gehammer or Jan?
No, Jan.
It's just got tons of tread on it. It's as though he's not been driving the car. Those rear tyres look as good as new. Now, can we just please stop with the Prost analogies before I get bitter?
If you want.
Yes, Alan Prost is banned from this broadcast.
Yes, in fact, any ex-F1 driver is banned from this broadcast, because this is not a broadcast about ex-F1 drivers, it's a broadcast about some sim racers attempting to do a moderately good job of driving virtual cars around a virtual track.
Oscar Hardwick's rant of the year! Anyway, moving back to the race.
One.
And you have Gravity will be
Gravity will have a new driver.
I think that's a pretty wise decision, because you really want to cover off your rivals. Obviously not to the effect that Ferrari did in the 2010 F1 season.
Runas has a puncture. Sorry, but Runas, before you start whinging about Fernando Alonso, Runas has a left rear puncture in the deadline car. It seems so he's got a bit of damage as well. Wanda's going to come up behind him. Where's Runas going to go? He's going to get just off the track, but that's got a bit of tread left, so I wonder if he's had a bit of a... Well, of course, we've seen him spinning earlier on in the race, so...
Yeah, I don't think the majority of it's really been his fault. I just think he's been terribly unlucky. Also, Michael Booth changes his name, so we won't unfortunately have Tiger Express leading the race. But yeah, tough day so far for Runas, and the puncture really doesn't make it better. He's been sliding a lot. Oh, that's a... No, he just braked for the corner and the rear completely stepped out, but yeah. Obviously not the most friendliest car to
Sorry, back to the lead battle, because Gehammer is in the pits. Now where is he... How far is he going to be ahead? Gehammer waiting. It'll be Bjork when he comes out of the pits though. He's still got his engine revs. That makes it look like his fuel is going in the car and he's away. He's going to have a bit of a lead.
Yeah. I think now comes a bit less fuel, and also goes one lap longer in the stint with the better tyres. So
but Yapar takes the lead for the new team, the new FXR team. But they have lost the lead, but they have just stayed ahead of Genuine Racing, around fun in the chicane in the draft of Isaac Price. So, new race leaders, Deep Drive Race, formerly Dynamo Motorsports, have the lead in their first GTL race in the FXR bus thing.
Also, Runas has now
come out in 8th.
Runas has got a right front puncture as well, so he's obviously been sliding in the corners, slamming on the brakes maybe, and just to really save the car and stop it from spinning out.
Simon, do you by any chance remember having a fair pair of punctures at Aston last season? I remember that fairly vividly.
Fortunately, double rear puncture, but it's not really the most comfortable situation to drive an FZR with punctures. But well, that's just the way it is. You take the risks with the moves that you make, and getting on the throttle early and things like that. And yeah.
To get away from you two, reminiscing, the gap between the two leaders, or effective leaders, who are second and third at the moment, behind Yapar, who is yet to pit, is 3.9 seconds. So it was around about half a second. So it's about 3.5 seconds that Gravity gained on Genuine through the pit stops.
And also, 2 new drivers in the car as well, so it'll be interesting to see how they perform.
And joining us now...
Yeah, Chris Wilkinson's now joined us in the commentary box.
Let's do it together. And joining us now is
Chris Wilkinson.
Well, that was an awful double introduction, to be perfectly honest. You could have timed that better.
Doesn't really help with TeamSpeak lag and all
that was completely Simon's fault. Anyway, so Wilco, are you prepared?
I am prepared as I am going to get.
Oh, Isaac Price.
Go on, Oscar.
No, he just had a moment. I was saying it for the sake of he had a moment in a funny voice, but never mind, it wasn't that impressive. I'll move along.
Okay, so the race leaders have been in the...
Price has a broken left front damper. Yet another
He did go over the cone. He went over the cone.
Oh, so it's
I saw that. He went over the cone and got very loose. Or slidey on the exit of the chicane.
I didn't know you could get a broken damper from that, but well, Isaac, I was obviously testing the limits of the racetrack.
GDAL round 4, a place for learning how many ways you can break your car on a piece of plastic cone.
We already had loads of chicane fun last round at Firm Bay back, with especially me going over the curbs in the FE green chicane and damaging my dampers at least 50% each stint.
And there is Isaac Price, and it's quite amusing really to watch the right rear tyre lift itself off the ground with the unloaded front left side of the car.
Harvey going for a bit of an off-track excursion there, right behind him.
Yeah, but Isaac Price crawling his way around. Ooh, there's another near miss there from Kalemba.
As we go back to our leaders, Bjorkland and Shine at the moment. It seems that Shine is just a little bit...
Shine is actually going slightly quicker. Although I'm assuming you're about to say Shine looks a bit slower. If you weren't, then you're completely right. He was definitely going quicker, but he has been going quicker for this lap.
He's using his front tyres quite a bit though, which is a bit of a surprise on a R2R2 set, but he's closed in the gap, then that's what you've got to do. In fact, the FXR in the traction zones does pull it back, so I'm pretty even splits now this time around. Oh, Isaac's off again. Let's just watch him as he crawls his way back to the pits, getting out of the way of the core racing car.
I'm pretty sure he's going to change tyres as well.
Yeah, those tyres are padded.
Yeah, he may as well at this stage.
SR.
I mean, SR were already pretty intent on withdrawing from this race. There was really not much... they didn't really see much point to do this race, despite him being second in the championship, but I presume you guys didn't even wish you bothered, no?
No, not really.
So Isaac Price in the pit lane now in that XRR of Sonic Rams Racing, and as Chris said earlier, Bjorklund for Gravity Racing still leading. Shine of Genuine. Also nice to see as well. Such an open track as well. We've got TDRT and the FXR up in 3rd place as well, guys.
Oh, hang on, sorry. We have Hofer and Booth battling over 6th position.
Yes, we do. And Michael Booth in that FXR.
No deadline.
Well, I don't know whether he's got pace or he hasn't got pace or whatever.
Also, we had Smoking Team complete a drive-through penalty as well. That was for, I believe, it was cutting the blame line on the pit exit, which has obviously annoyed the admin team, and yeah, they get a drive-through penalty for that. But it's also quite interesting to see they lost a good 4 or 5 seconds on the pit entry alone, just slowing down for the pit entry. It was really unnecessary, and it just shows really that there's quite a few teams who haven't really prepared for these sort of situations where you may be coming into the pits and you're not quite sure where the braking point is for the pit line, and that is something you've got to prepare for, because if you brake, say 100 metres too early, then you're costing yourself a second, and that could be really crucial in a battle for position. So it is something for the teams to consider, as well as all the on-track battles as well.
Yeah, but I'm sorry to interrupt, Simon, but here comes Michael Booth. The first time I've ever said this on a league broadcast. Here comes Michael Booth looking at the back of Timo Hofer, closing the door there, coming into the left-right chicane before this long straight, and the FZR will pull away from the FXR of Michael Booth now. Michael Booth not getting the best of exits there for Tiger Express Motorsports either, but he was really hounding him there just before that chicane, and Timo Hoover defending well. Hoover.
It's alright, we've all said Hoover so far. It doesn't really matter.
I haven't, so I'm going to pride myself on that.
There's time yet, Oscar. There is definitely time yet.
I understand that, but can we not jinx it, because I've been doing well today.
Oh, a good run there for Michael Booth. It's side by side they go. Coming into the fast chicane. This can't go well side by side. And Michael Booth going around the outside of Timo Hoover. He yields to Timo Hoover for 7 Carat Racing. And Michael Booth takes the 6th place. With a good move, to be honest, Michael.
Absolute favourite car.
just shows how much better the FXR is in the last sector.
Yeah, it really does. The first half of the lap is quite a lot of really high-speed corners.
Can I just interrupt? Just driving now.
Oh, and Hick, yeah.
7 Carat straight away on the attack
spot.
as soon as that door's open, slowing 7 Carat down.
Oh, a little bit of contact as well. Coming into turn 1, a little bit of contact, and don't know whether that was lag from the oh, very well contact! And Timo Hoover goes off the spins. Oh, and he rejoins. No! Oh, Vince Lombardi on 2 wheels, clouting the side. Oh,
but
wow!
Completely damaged that left rear suspension. There's so much upper wishbone damage that the left rear tyre will be kind of pointing inwards and will start to burn up pretty heavily. It's really unfortunate. That was a pretty stupid rejoin, to say the least. Not really aware of what's going on there, but yeah.
Yeah, it was the contact between Pablo Navrat for just driving and Timo Hoover for 7 Carat that caused that, and Pablo Navrat seems to have got away with that quite handily. He's catching the car of Ivan Todorovic very rapidly in front of him as well, so that's another big in-your-head yes kind of moment.
Vince Lombardi was actually quite lucky there. I think he could have possibly rolled over if Timo Hoover's car wasn't there.
Yeah, he was looking for it to be there. He was definitely looking as though he would at least run wide, let alone maybe even flipping if he tried to keep it on the road. Anyway, yeah. Meanwhile, in and out of the pits comes Deadline Racing from their drive-through penalty after a timeout. So it's really going extremely badly for Deadline Racing at the moment. I can only assume that drive-through penalty was for a number plate violation.
It was. But they've without a doubt been probably the most unfortunate team out there. I mean, we did see Zion team earlier in the race where they went out of bounds purely because of a lagging car, but really Deadline have had 5 incidents, or maybe even 6 incidents that have really caused them to lose so much time, and it's just really hampered them overall. And they're sitting right down in, I believe it's 22nd, 21st. So yeah, obviously not an ideal race.
Yeah, I've just noticed something.
What have you just noticed, Mr. Ford?
Flowers Tortoise is on circuit!
Oh, God.
Then just misses the corner completely, as you said there.
Yes, Lawrence Matonis in that pink and white E-Team car with Jaguar on, which really should be green, but has been made pink, so...
Don't
you know,
rant
whatever.
about it again.
Have we already had this discussion?
You rant about E-Team skins every single race.
I do, but only because they've got those stupid Porsche lights on the back when they have an FZR, and they're like, although I do like the pink, I like the pink.
Nothing wrong with a bit of pink, eh?
Everybody loves a bit of pink. Meanwhile, here comes Team Identity on the Independent Racing Mates car as well. A bit further down the field. Oh, getting very, very loose on the entry of the corner there for Muller and Team Identity. Now he's going to get the run on the Independent Racing Mates car. He defends, does Mellon. Down the inside, coming into turn 2. Identity going to try and cut back. Get a good exit out of this corner, but it's not going to work with that turbocharged XRR. Will get more pace down this long back straight going into turn number 3 or 4.
Should have the run now, but he's tucked out the draft. He didn't really back off, so this could give a chance for Independent Race Mates to tuck back in the draft, but well, it looks like
he's got to tuck in now, though. He's way too late tucking into the draft from Mellon, and he's not going to be able to fight back from there, so that's a position gained for Team Identity. I don't think Mellon and Independent Racing Mates will really have a reply to that move there from Independent Race. No, from Identity. Get your head together, Wilkinson.
Just a note on the leaders. It's down to 2 seconds between Gravity and Genuine Racing now, and the Danish racing team are hunting them both down. So we really do have a 3-way battle here, an FZR and 2 buses. Unbelievable. I would never have expected that at Aston.
I think all the XRRs have been really unlucky. In fact, there's not an XRR in the top 10, let alone leading the race, which they really should be doing. Let's have a look where the closest XRR is.
It's Identity.
It's Identity, yeah. We're down at 13th. So it's not a good day for the XRRs. We've had teams like M-Power suffering, Sonic Realms also with the timeout, and yeah, it's obviously the car's a bit cursed today, shall we say.
Bjorklund really isn't. Apologies, I've still got the chest infection from last week. He isn't really pushing through the first chicane. He's hitting none of the curbs, and Shine is just really eating up his advantage at the moment, and Harvey's eating them both up. It's fantastic. It's really going to be a great 3-way battle soon. Just an hour and a half to go of this race. I mean, this could go anywhere. These three really, the class of the field today. Fantastic driving from these 3 teams so far. Sasha Riegler was really unlucky as well in the first hour. He was terrific as well.
Also, Pablo Navarro also goes down the inside of Todorovic. Nice clean pass there for 7th place. Just timing the move really well so that Todorovic couldn't really make the cut back on the straight and go up the inside again. So good driving there.
Yep, and also just a bit of news from the Team Identity camp from their team manager and leader Tommy Osgard. He's just stated to me that Radek Muller is with very little practice. Was asked 5 minutes before the race if he could drive for them, and yeah, he doesn't seem to be doing too bad for that, really, does he?
Yes, they had a problem with lag in the first hour with Terzic, so they really needed a 3rd driver. I don't think Terzic could come back. He sent a car out of bounds, didn't he, lads?
Oh yeah, that was fun. I thought it was going to be 2 cars at first. It was really a catastrophe. But no real battles on track at the minute. All the cars are pretty evenly spaced out.
Just on another note, You're saying that TDRT are pulling in on Genuine and Genuine even are pulling in on Gravity. Is it Grabbed or Gravity?
Gravity.
I'll get to
Gravity.
Okay, I'll never know really. But I think that Drunk Team are actually pulling in on all of them. Although
Yes, the core are sort of catching as well, aren't they? So it's kind of fascinating. This could turn into one of the great races.
The line of catching is Booth, who's falling back.
He's not falling that
There's a
far
shot.
back, but he was just quite far back already. It's Michael Booth, so you don't exactly expect trees to be pulled up magically.
And he's got some tire trouble right now. They're all pretty hard.
Yeah, also just of note, Deadline Racing have had another timeout and they have rejoined again.
That lap, Bjorklund 44.0, 43.6 from Genuine, and then a 43.1 from TDRT. That's how much faster they are. And then a 42.9 from Drunk. And a 43.3 for Vanilla. So really, that is... They're all within 15 seconds. It's really a chance for any of these 5 teams to win this race and take a really good shot at the championship, with the first 3 teams in the championship standings at the moment having a disastrous race. This is GTAL livening up this season, lads. This is going to be down to the wire once again between several teams at the end of the season. And we've still got South City for the FXR to come. We've still got numerous... where else are we going, lads? Blackwood, we've got Blackwood, that'll be an adventure. Yeah. And the other one.
And KY3.
KY3.
3, yes.
Okay, we got there in the end. We eventually remember the schedule between the 5 of us. But this really could be a fantastic end to this championship.
Something I'm going to keep my eye on, because I've noticed this for a few corners.
Oh, Bjorklund's off! Bjorklund drops a couple of wheels, gets very sideways there, and that is going to allow Genuine to close up an absolutely massive amount. Probably a second lost there, if not a little bit more. And look at Harvey being down on them as well.
You could almost get all 4. You could almost get all 4 cars in the picture there.
Even nearly all 5 with Core Racing there sitting in the back, and Michael Booth doing 44s.
You got to feel for Core really with that
There
incident with
is
Sasha.
2.8
You still don't know what
seconds
happened
in
there.
the top 3.
It was only half a second he lost somehow, so it really... But the gap is coming down all the time, and then... Harvey takes another half a second out of both of them, so Harvey's a second up on this lap on the leaders, half a second on second place, and Drunk are 10th up on them, so that really is just the way this race is moving, and Banilla's also a second up on the leader as well, so 14 seconds, 5 cars, an hour, 34 minutes to go.
I think we've really kind of established...
No.
Go ahead,
Go on, Simon. I was just going to say that also just ahead of the race leading car of Graft Racing is a back marking car of Great White North Racing in an XRR. That'll mean it's going to be a very difficult job for them to get past on a straight. You're going to probably have to do it in the corners. The FZR won't be as hard hit, but he's backing off. He doesn't want to be in that battle.
That's fair enough. We don't want to see another Fern Bay incident, but TDRT 42.7 there compared to the 44.4 from Gravity, and also 43.5 for Genuine. Genuine also making a slight move there, but in fact Core Racing with a 42.7. But something I've been noticing is that the car of Vanilla really does downshift quite quickly, and I think if he keeps at that rate, he's going to be damaging his engine just gradually and slowing himself down on the straight. He's really taking some aggressive downshifts, particularly in turn 1, so it's something to keep an eye on.
And there is another timeout from our race admin Ben Keel, who seems to be away from servers more than he is in them. Meanwhile, another half a second or so taken away, just over half a second from Genuine, and now they are really hounding this Graft Racing car.
Yeah, they really hooked up with that sector 1, and they've just eaten away at the gap, really.
Yeah, it looks as... Oh, getting a bit of the draft there in the right-hander, though. This is the key corner, I'd say, that if they can remain close enough here or get a good enough run out of this next left-hander, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to go up, and Bjorklund takes a really weird line to that corner. But they really are hounding them now, as Wilco said just a moment ago. And now you can get all 4 of the front runners on that little back straight together. So it's getting closer and closer every time.
Yeah, all you racing fans out there should everybody's fingers crossed that Bjorklund will hold up this pack so we can have a 4-way battle for this lead. That would be absolutely fantastic. But Bjorklund very early on the brakes, coming into the hairpin section in this sector.
Now look at Harvey on
Still
them.
is the apex though, but Harvey's closing as well. Yeah. 40.9 for Harvey in that split, which is half a second quicker than Genuine and a second quicker than Gravity. Let's have a look at the third split.
Even if Genuine managed, Genuine clipped the wall slightly into the chicane. Oh, just get the little buggy ball that drags you in on Live for Speed. So frustrating for the Genuine. Genuine Racing with some you were talking about core racing with some monumental downshifting. That was unbelievable for Genuine Racing. But they have the draft of Bjorklund, I'm pretty sure of it. They're right behind him now. I think they're just going to get the perfect draft to be able to pass him into the chicane. Bjorklund's going to have to go defensive at some point down the straight. He's right in the middle of the road now. It's up to Genuine to choose which way they want to go. They want to go to the right, and Bjorklund's not going to be able to defend. And Genuine Racing are back in the lead. It's Aston Grand Touring reverse. And he just manages to stop it. Bjorklund's
goes wide.
Harvey's going to come through.
Here comes Harvey. Harvey looking to the outside for turn 2. Bjorklund's going to try and shut them off, which he does so well. Let's see if Harvey can get the exit.
Here we go, down the back straight again. Harvey all over the back of Bjorklund. Bjorklund looking as though he's going to go from first to third in the blink of an eye. It's the 2 FXRs who are having a fantastic race here at Aston Grand Touring Reverse. But it's going to be Harvey up into second place. He's going to go a long way around. There's nothing Bjorklund could do. He's going to just have no chance of getting back through. Bjorklund's going to go flying off. He's held it somehow. But there's nothing he could do. He got the draft of Harvey. There was no way he could stay in the draft there in that long right-hander. And Gravity go from first to third in the split to 40 seconds.
But Bjorklund did leave quite a lot of room there, and I think he does deserve some credit for that, because he didn't really shove his opponent out wide, and he was giving them quite a bit of respect, but I think maybe just a bit too much respect. You still want to keep your position you still want to keep the position, but yeah, he just pretty much opened the door for them and told them to go up the inside and let them through. But at the moment we've also got Drunk Team catching up as well. They're currently in 4th place.
So here's our leaders of the race. Genuine Racing. Hang on, the VNC decided it's going to stop. There we go. Via Genuine Racing leading, back in the lead. But how quickly could Harvey close and try to take the lead back for the first time in this race? Sorry, for the Danish racing team, because Harvey, out of this 3, is the man on the mission at the moment. He's running slightly wide out the hairpin there, but Harvey is the man to watch, and now we will watch him as he tries to battle the FZR for the lead on a track that there's no way that the FXR should be remotely competitive. But Harvey, Dave's racing team are making it work.
I mean, we saw last season just really how slow the FXR was at Aston Historic Reverse, but now that we've got these hairpins in it does open the doors for the FXR and gives them it closes the gap to the cars ahead, and that's probably something that's been thought out in the calendar and allowed them to close the gap a little.
Yeah, definitely, but this has been a very good run for Genuine Racing so far in their leadership. Harvey not closing the door that lap. Closing the door, closing up.
Gap, yeah. He's going to run a little bit wide now.
This could give the chance to Bjorklund to get a little bit of time back, see if they could start pushing a little bit, get on the back of that TDRT car, but it just doesn't seem to be happening for them at this stage of the race. Maybe later on, maybe they might get a safety car that'll bunch everything up a little bit more. You
have to say, even if that was a draft enabled lap, that was a terrific rest of the lap there from Shine. 42.45 is comfortably the fastest thing we've seen in this stint. So I wonder if he was just playing it cool behind the Gravity car, and now he's getting on with it. it just seems to me as though he is, because he is suddenly pulling 0.3 a second.
Oh, he's off though, he's on the grass! Big off on the grass there, on the exit of the fast right-hander. So,
now he's pushing
maybe
too hard.
pushing it to a little bit of an extreme there. Pushed it 105% where he only could go 100%. And he's paid the price a little bit there in terms of time, and this could be the opportunity for TDRT to come out guns blazing and get that lead.
Held on to it though. I mean, we saw a lot of teams last season who went off in that same corner and just stayed on full throttle and ended up spinning it into the barrier on the inside. But he is pushing it pretty hard at this stage. But maybe he's just keen to obviously build up that gap to TDRT, who did make that mistake in turn 1. So a bit of a lead to be comfortable as they
remember,
approach
they need
the
to
pit window.
They need to have a 3.5 second plus gap. If
with the fuel.
what happened the last time happens again, it's going to be 3.5 seconds between Genuine Racing and the Danish racing team, and Shine really has to push. Bjorklund's actually hanging on again, which is surprising given his pace before those two got past. Oh, and crikey, we've got Empower. It's a Great White North Racing doing a very strange manoeuvre out the hairpin and getting in the way of Drunk Team. As I was scrolling back through the cars there, that was an interesting moment. Whoa! We have smoking teams left rear tyres. Quite interesting at the moment, lads. And they're off again.
Is it smoking?
It actually is.
Oh, I feel pro for that. I feel like a pro. Oh yeah. Oh, hello. That is very hot.
Yes, that is rather hot, isn't it? It's browning for all those who are not on the stream at the moment.
No, got deadline off again.
Yeah, they just
and also a battle between Car Game and Angel Power Racing, and Car Game going down the inside of Angel Power Racing into the long fast turn 4 and taking the position from them. So a move there, another FXR move at the end of that long back straight, so where you really wouldn't expect an FXR to make a move. So there's another thing. Also a fun fact from Philip Diaz, just letting everybody know that our leader Shine, who used to be a fantastic drifter back in his early days of Live for Speed, so there we are. Oh god, what have you said? Oh god, sorry.
So just to take your mind off that a bit, we've had our first protest of the whole race now. It's Sean Williams has filed a protest for 7 Karat against car number 24. Let's just find out who that is. That's Just Driving with Pablo Navrat.
So that'll be for that lag incident we saw down the front straight, which led to the
Genuine Racing, sorry to interrupt, Genuine Racing held up a considerable amount there behind Abernethy, and Harvey is going to get the same he's going to get the same treatment. There we are. Thank you for putting in on the word there, Chris.
It's really not the best section on the track to catch a lap car.
Yes, with that left right you can't really do anything until the main straight afterwards.
Bjorklund also getting the treatment from Abernethy, and that's a big loss of time, big slide from Craft Racing, and I think their challenge on the top 2 positions is over, but Harvey's is definitely not for the lead.
Oh yeah, those two are actually pretty close. Let's bring that battle on the screen.
He's probably just that bit too far away for the draft.
I mean, this is we're still in the FXR's prime point of the stint, and the last 10 minutes you really don't want to be struggling around on the cold tyres, so maybe he's just eager to get the move done sooner rather than later. Taking a very conservative line through turn 1. And yeah, Genuine went off, but still managed to keep a big gap over TDRT simply by being that little bit more aggressive.
Big lock-up for Genuine Racing! This is going to give TDRT that chance the chance they need to get the draft, but they still seem to be pulling away a little bit, Genuine.
Oh, that's really that left front.
I think we've just got
Genuine Racing has really been hurt by that. That's a horrendous tyre wear that flat spot's caused. But Harvey has the draft. Harvey has the draft, and he's going to go for it. Is he? Shine stays to the outside. Harvey goes to the inside. Shine's going to do the big long sweeper out, but there's nothing he can do. Harvey's just driven straight past him. Harvey goes a little bit wide, but Shine can't do anything about him, and now he's going to have the draft up the hill, and Harvey has the lead for the Danish racing team. Just as Elutus, though, Genuine Racing Team were moving away from the Danish racing team after they got past Gravity. Harvey's got the foot down and has got the lead now as they come up behind the Gentles on circuit car. And, well, that flat spot really is going to hamper Genuine's racing team's rest of the stinks. I'm not convinced that tyre's going to go now.
Yeah,
but we have an FXR leading at Aston. This is not right.
Well, you could see that the pressure that Harvey was putting on the car of Genuine Racing there, even though he wasn't close enough to make the move, it was massive. Meanwhile, I've got a yellow flag from Sonic Realms Racing, not sure what that was about, obviously going off at turn 1 or something there, but yeah, Harvey with a massive move on Shine, and a good move as well, picked up on the opportunity and made it stick.
Oh, and Shine's going to get horribly held up by Demek into the hairpin. Demek should have moved over a long time before that for Gentles on circuit to let both the leaders go instead of blocking one into the hairpins. He's still not moving really out of the way. He's just really been good on Nico Demek, really. It's been a while since we've seen him in GTL. His last race was for Epic Racing, and it's sad to see that he has improved about as much as, well...
There were a few controversial incidents which you can remember quite vividly. But you shouldn't really be doing that. It's not really any of the business of the lap cars really to hold up the lead, especially when Nico's not really got anyone around him for position. So yeah, it is a shame to see that, but luckily neither of them lost too much in terms of the gap between them.
So now Shine wants to leapfrog Harvey again for TDRT. He's going to have to bring out that pace that we saw him running before he managed to have a little off into the grass. And, well, went downhill from there really for Genuine Racing when he just ran that a little bit too wide on the grass in that sweeping fast section in the middle of the track. And yeah, he's going to have to really pull some pace from his big top hat, something like that.
How can you pull pace from a hot top hat? I can understand why you pull a rabbit milker, but not pace. Well, are you suggesting that he wears a top hat?
No. Well, I mean, if you can pull a rabbit from a top hat, then, and like loads of like napkins tied together magically, then I mean, why can't you pull pace out?
Anyway, back to the race. So, having had it look like 5 cars about to be battling for a chance of the win, it's suddenly, with those two getting past, they've suddenly found a little bit of pace again to pull away from the rest of the contenders so far in this race. So the team are still eating away at the top 3. And Michael Booth has obviously had a problem. In fact, we should give Michael Booth a little bit of a look just now. He's fallen behind Navrad in the just driving car.
Yep, Todorovic behind him as well, looking fairly racy, although his front tyre is also looking a bit iffy on the wear front. Christopher Ford.
Yeah, most cars will get that this track. These two have some history. AS4R last season, Todorovic said to Michael Booth that he would come kill him with a knife, burn down his house, and then jump on his body. So these two are not friendly together.
I never knew that happened. Well, there we are. That just shows how knife crime is spiralling out of control in Serbia. I was going to say Croatia there and realised the team was called Serbian Chrome Pistons, so they weren't going to be from Croatia anyway, were they? Silly me.
Well, not necessarily, because Harvey isn't exactly Danish and he's driving for TDRT.
Speaking of TDRT, Genuine did in fact catch up by a few tenths on them in that pressed lap.
And now's the phase where the FZR makes the biggest gains in a stint.
Indeed, at the end of the stint, of course, as Dom just says, the FXR really does start to pull in on the FXR. And of course, well, we saw the last stint. Of course, Dom, would you like to give that explanation as to the FXR's engine and the FZR's engine over fuel consumption again for me?
Well, the FZR, of course, hasn't got a turbocharger and a 3.6 litre engine compared to the FXR, which has a turbocharger and a 1.9. So the FZR ends up using about 20% more fuel, 15 to 20% more fuel than the FXR, which means if Genuine want to have a good chance of winning this race, they seriously need to pay attention to not leave a too big gap to TDRT, because they have a shorter pit stop.
Apparently, something's happened to Michael Booth.
Yeah, Michael Booth apparently had a spin. Yeah, according to a source that I can't trust, but I'll trust anyway because it's bad about Michael Booth. Apparently, he has in fact had a spin.
On the stream. On the stream, because I left it on the stream. Yes, I left it on the stream for maximum Michael Booth embarrassment, and I'm sure everybody in this
country himself without anybody noticing. Wow.
Apart from everybody watching on the stream.
Yes.
Oh, he's having a fun time again.
He has been struggling quite a bit with his tyres actually. He did overheat them a bit in Heat P. Yeah, he was still doing quick times. He was doing like 43 zeros, 43 ones. So he's starting to fall in love with that car.
Dominic Angle.
Of course we had like bad luck for the top 3 in the championship, and now TDRT suffering from what looks like to be lag spikes.
Of course, Harvey is Canadian.
Down the back straight.
Yeah, I did actually see that. About Michael Booth, so I got more involved in that. But yeah, it does seem to have a few little. Oh yes, some very large niggles for Harvey. Oh, he's on the grass as well. Not helping as well.
So we should put Harvey on if we're speaking about him, I guess. So that's just to point this out. There's Michael Booth, whose teammates go well, and then Michael Booth ruins the race again.
But by flipping or spinning.
Flipping, spinning, slow. Yeah. Sure, you understand where I'm coming from, everybody on IRC, especially Tom Parker. So, a quiet end to this stint at the moment. We've got a sort of similar position to the end of the first hour. We have a genuine racing car attempting to catch an FXR. Only it's no longer Graph T, it's now the Danish racing team. I guess you call them the kings of the FXR. Once again, look at this shine is really catching Harvey now. So I think we could have another battle for the lead right out to this hairpin. Here we go. Can he quite get the power down. No, Harvey just managed to hold on, I think, down this straight. But Shine is really closing it, isn't he, guys?
Yep. Only over a second
Seemingly, yes.
on the first 3 sectors. It's a long lap, but yeah, he's obviously putting it in, just enjoying the nice comfort.
Oh, Shine with a terrific lap. 41.48 at this stage of the stint, and that's compared to a 42.7 from the Danish racing team car. So this really is battle joined, part 3 of this stint.
If I'm not wrong, that's only 2/10 off the fastest lap of the race overall anyway, so he's really going for it now, and just 3/10 off the pole position time.
Well, you expect with R2R2s at the end of a stint to be right up there with the pole position time, wouldn't you, Simon?
Yeah, but there's still over 10 minutes in the stint left, so that's got a bit more capacity, and his tyres have still got good tread and good heat.
Yes, really good tread this time. One that front left looks a little bit cold, but I'm sure that in this fast-flowing section that he will really work that left front, and he gets a little bit wide there. Come back on the track, please. There we go.
I know it's hot instead of cold, but yeah, just those fast corners in sectors 1 and 2, they really are a chance to heat up the left front, because it doesn't really get much stress over the second half of the lap, so it's just a way of heating up the tyres again. Whereas in comparison to Harvey's tyres, for example, he's gone through the sector 1 and sector 2 complex and then pretty much, and his front left still looks pretty cold, so when are we driving that going into turn 1, for example?
So his rears are better this stint, I've noticed.
Yeah, the rears were, I mean, compared to the other FXR runners, the TRT were slightly harsher, so from that perspective, yeah, they are much better. Also, especially the right rear, that's got a lot of tread, but Shine getting very, very close to the hairpin.
A little bit of lunge, a little bit of a lunge even there. He probably could have had a little bit of a dive, and just to see what would happen for Shine, but no go.
Oh, he's on the grass.
A little off-track excursion.
Well, that
It's
ruined
very
the chance
easy to do in that corner.
Also quicker downshift as well. It has happened a few times. I've saw the genuine car downshifting quick. Particularly
Yeah, it's I'm wondering if he's actually maybe got a little touch of engine damage, because he's not really going fast in the straight. Also, I noticed when the Danish racing team car actually took the lead, it was as though that the top end wasn't there for him down the straight. And look at that again.
Yeah,
actually, I think we'll give you an onboard so you can actually listen to Shine's gear changes for a little bit.
I mean, we've still quite a few FZR teams using pretty aggressive downshifts going into turn 1, especially Core as well, and again, going into the hairpin. Core were also doing the same thing, and be interested to... Oh, Core got a double downshift. Core got a double downshift going into second gear there, going into turn 1. That's really not something that you want to be doing. It's third gear high range that you go through that corner, so dip it into second gear and you've had it. It's already doing.
Well, it's not what they wanted.
Oh yeah, that's
going to cost them a lot of time.
Yeah, we're on board with Core Racing now.
Also very cold front tyres as well, so not really a very good compromise setup to balance out the different points in the stint.
Apparently we're not on board
pretty
with
good
Core
in
Racing
the early part, but still quite a few FZR teams have got good heat. But yeah, we've got the Sector 2 complex coming up there, so should get a bit more heat into them. Also seeing quite a lot of PBs today. Speaking of PBs, Isaac Price now goes and does a 41.5 at lap 20 in his stint with extremely good heat in his tyres. Those XR R2s are really working well at this stage.
Woohoo! No way!
Quickest on track.
Guys, let's check out the Just Driving car at the moment. That is incredibly interesting left rear. I'm not convinced that's going to last for much longer.
There's not even any damage, bizarrely, so they've obviously been sliding it quite a lot.
So there should be damage, but looking at the car, but there's not. Weird.
Well, the drunk team going a bit wide in the last corner, but still put in 8/10 on gravity. So we've got yet another battle emerging here as well as the battle for the lead. As actually Harvey's getting a bit held up by Deadline, who's also getting a bit of lag spikes as well. I don't think.
Yeah, Harvey
I
pulled alongside Deadline out the corner I saw, and I thought he was through, but apparently not. He's actually going to overtake him. That's not going to help Harvey at all. But then, surely Deadline will have to back off, and then they'll come back into Genuine's sort of way.
I mean, they did back off early, so they could still carry some good speed, but that could have been a lot worse.
It's possible Genuine will get a nice draft down this back straight. No, they're actually just going to get held up.
Oh no, the Deadline did give them the room that time.
Oh, Gahammer's going back in for gravity.
Unless it's just a move to check on the state of the tyres, because we've saw that a few times with drivers joining the server and then just disconnecting not so long later.
I'd say that could be gravity right back in this if Bjorklund's, if Gahammer's back in the car to hammer it down.
Possibly, just depends on what all the competitors do. Oh, Michael Booth's off at turn 1, getting a bit held up there by the speed corner team who are a lap down, but there goes Michael Booth up the inside now. That's a problem over.
Oh, the battle is joined once more for the lead, I think, though. That the Danish racing team losing out again this lap.
Drunk team as well. Drunk team may have a run if they don't
good enough
run at the final corner, at the long left-hander, but they have to back off quite a bit on entry to avoid being in the draft, and that's killed the chance of overtaking. Perhaps they're aware of Gohammer joining the service, so don't really want to do anything stupid and maybe throw it off the road if Bjorklund's pitting anyway.
Looks like Graf want to keep Gohammer in the car for as long as they can.
Oh, in fact, Bjorklund's gone a bit wide there, so I wonder if Drunk's going to think about a move just to sort of get that last little few tenths before Bjorklund comes to the pits, because of course Bjorklund's got a quicker pit stop. I think that's going to be negated if they pit at this point, on lap early, wouldn't you? I think that's really not going to be an issue, so...
Also, you've got to say, for an FZR, Junk Team have conserved their rear tyres pretty well. I mean, I've saw in previous rounds that the Junk Team drivers did tend to favour a bit more oversteery car, which does damage the rear tyres and leave them a bit thin at the end of a stint, but those rear tyres could go probably about maybe 3 or 4 laps, I reckon, which would take them well into 2 hours 5, 2 hours 10 minutes into the race.
The two leaders do identical times as Bjorklund pulls into the pits for gravity for third position. Get out of 4th gear, son! Get out of 4th gear! Get out of 4th gear, son! You're doing... Oh, good grief. He's in 4th gear trundling down the pits. That's going to have cost them time.
Did you spy if they were a bit slow on the pit entry, Chris? Because some teams do tend to brake way too early and then...
No, I only saw the 4th gear thing. Oh, the car game! Massive crash, car game! Car game have had a massive crash in the... I think it's the sector... Just to start sector 2. Yeah. I noticed that they were a little bit thin on their tyres, but it sort of went straight on there. They're lucky they don't have more damage. Wow.
No, it's not really advisable with a...
Oh, there we go.
Now they do. Now they do.
That's not going to be a fun drive back to the pit.
You got Angel Power Racing, but stamping on the brakes, the car just almost looks like he's going to topple over. Also, we've got Sasha Regan joining the server.
Oh, Michael Booth is off again.
Oh, it's that dreaded turn 1. What is it? What is it with you, Boothie? Tyres are looking good though.
Oh, God.
2 front tyres!
This'll be
I don't think he's
entertaining.
done that. Well, this is going to be entertaining. I think we'll stick with car game for a little while.
Definitely.
I think they might as well cut that chicane coming up.
No! Go! No!
We've got the
no.
Lucas coming up. Oh no.
Ooh! Ooh! Straight across, go on! Oh, Harvey's coming! Harvey's coming!
Yeah, get off the road.
Stay off the track, yes, good car game.
Good.
Pats on head.
There are a few gravel traps around here as well. Listen, he's going to jump into this one.
Handbrake, handbrake, handbrake.
That does look hugely fun to drive.
What's the deadline?
This is going to be interesting. The chicane with Deadline right behind them. Deadline moving to move out of the way. The drunk team are coming up behind them now as well. I think they'll just manage to get off to the left hand. Oh no, it's quite good.
The dynamics of driving a car with two front punctures.
Some sensible handbrake use actually from car game, but
And
they're
that goes
going to run
flying.
wide.
So yeah, that handbrake is really well. Well, he was using it though, so it is good that he was doing that.
Well, despite actually having two front punctures, he's done a good job, really, of bringing it back to the pits.
I mean, it's the FXR with four-wheel drive. It's not the most ideal situation. The front tyres are pretty thin as well, but well, here he comes into the pit.
So we're into the final hour.
Is that car game locking up their fronts again that's gone and caused that?
I don't know. Anyway, we're into the final hour of round 4 of GTL 2011. We're coming up to the pit stop times. And Sasha Riegler's taking over for Cora again. So Cora aren't out this neither. I think they're really gunning for 4th place at the moment though. But the battle is Harvey and Shine up at the front, with Drunk Team desperately trying to close in on them. Danish Racing Team will propel themselves right into the thick of the championship race. In fact, either of these two, if they won, would propel themselves right into the thick of the championship race. Genuine Racing must be feeling a little bit annoyed about how their race ended at FE4 when they were the quickest car. Definitely the most impressive team of GTL 2011.
Well, they have consistently run at the front and consistently been a force to be reckoned with, just not always finishing in the right place. They've been up there in every race, but they've not always finished it right.
If not for that problem at Fern Bay, Genuine could have been right up there in the championship. With another good scoring race, then yeah, they could have been right up there. But they've been a consistent force all season. Yeah, they've had is it 3 pole positions, 2 or 3, and oh sorry, actually they were 100th off pole position here, but still a great effort.
And
they're going to be right up there.
times out for just driving.
Oh, yeah, actually just driving.
But they've got Eduardo Layton on track. Lost connection to possibly a kick there for staying on the server or something. I don't really know.
Oh,
yeah,
how much bad luck can you have?
Ah, Kruger. Oh no, wait.
Oh no, wait, he wasn't.
I think they're being removed from the server because it is at that prime pit stop time, and so people aren't supposed to be staying on the server should they have swapped drivers.
Yeah, I think that what's going on is as they're disconnecting, they have. It sometimes comes up for me as well that it says lost connection to server or whatever. Shine slides off the road in turn 1. Once again, it's really a tricky corner that. And really aggressive downshifts again there for Shine.
Also car game with the 2 front punctures, then also cut the pit exit line, and that's why I've got a drive-through penalty, which has just been assigned. Oh, Radek Muller's got a left front puncture for Team Identity. I just saw that go on the corner entry. That was really he's very fortunate there to get a puncture at that corner. Probably the best place on the circuit, but yeah, quite a shock moment there. Went flying off the road. Oh, Vanilla times up for corner as well. So we're using quite a few connections.
You think they've just given over to Sasha Riegler's?
Oh yeah.
Not sure what's happening with the servers now.
It's kind of funny that it's the drivers who aren't actually on track, but the ones that are watching the teammates that are timing it.
There's a bit of discussion. There's a problem with the servers now, so we'll keep you posted on that one. That people can't actually connect to this server. Oh, and I'm watching Abernethy have a massive crash, and he almost did a front flip out the circuit. How's he spawned there?
I think that's going to be on the just being silly on the curb beforehand.
Wow.
It shouldn't. I understand that it shouldn't have happened, but I'm admitting this, aren't I? I've done that there before, and it is just. There's a safety car who's done that.
There's server problems at the moment, and apparently there are problems with people joining the server or something related. Red flags coming out. There's server lag issues, and it's not feasible for the race to continue in the way it is. So safety cars out now. We'll soon be under red flag conditions.
Is it worth bringing up then what the rules are on how much race distance needs to have been completed for points and so on, and whether the race will be restarted?
I don't think. Well, if this race does not get restarted, they will not. I don't think it'll be much of an issue. But this really doesn't. Massive advantage. That doesn't really make a big difference. It doesn't make a difference. Normally going to be red flagging in the race, but this is a massive advantage to anybody that has pitted. It hasn't pitted.
No, it hasn't pitted because I was just about to say there's Vince Lombardi up there in fourth place for what they called again? Let's have a look. Deep drive racing. So they made up quite a lot of places with other teams around them pitted, and the FXR can go a bit longer with its R3 R2, and it's made up a few places. In fact, Hammer lost quite a lot from that. Gravity were really in the battle for the lead at one stage, and down to 6th place now because of this server issue.
And here's a situation I'm not quite sure about. The 9 car went off and has been passed by Gehammer, and Todorovic has retaken in position. Oh yeah, and he's out of fuel as well.
This race will be red flagged as soon as the last car progresses to the finish line.
So we've also got Drunk Team as well. Drunk Team are engaging into neutral and switching off the engine. Their tyres are cold, which suggests they're already very far into the stint. We also saw Shine get a front left puncture under safety car conditions. So there are quite a few teams out there who stayed out, but you've got problems with fuel, tyres, issues like this. But with the red flag now, it's I suppose it's kind of erased.
All people are supposed to go back to the start-finish line, but I'm not sure everyone will make it on fuel actually.
No, the race director has just said if people are having fuel issues, they are to switch off the ignition and pull over carefully to the side of the road off the track.
Yeah, car number 15, which is Fuba, so with some issues.
they're saying that no one may cross the start-finish line, presumably so that they keep everybody on the same page in terms of the LFS tracker for this race.
Yeah, that should be the situation.
But we have seen server lag cause Zion to retire and other teams to have timeouts. Now it's, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but it's issues with people actually connecting to the server. So they can't get people on to take over the cars, meaning that some people are going to be breaking certain rules in terms of distance and so on and so forth. So it's only right that they red flag the race at this point due to issues such as that.
In fact, we had this same issue in IGTC last season at Aston North. We also had this issue at Aston North, and there were problems with the server, and people were unable to join and connect with their teammates. I think we're getting the same sort of problems here, also with people timing out, losing connections, situations like this. So it's not entirely new or completely out of the blue, but it has happened in the past, and I can't really think back to any GTR races where it's happened, but it is quite a shame, especially if it happens on the 1 hour mark, especially when people are looking towards making pit stops, and they'll lose out some cars will lose out massively if, for instance, they've made a pit stop just before the red flag came out. So all these kind of factors play into it.
The last red flag I can remember at a major race was the 2008-2009 Masters of Endurance. Oh no, sorry, no, I tell a lie. 2009 IGTC. Oh really? Oh, no, I mean for a server issue. I don't mean for mean for Kenneth O'Keefe being a bright little boy. I mean server issues.
Fair enough.
So, we should just have 49 minutes to go. We don't. What will happen now? The server will be restarted and we will be back with you very, very soon. We're going to take a break and we'll get this all fixed. See you soon! Back on round 4 of the 2010-2011 not Master of Endurance, Grand Touring Amateur League. That's a great way to end. See you in a minute. Hello and welcome back to a fun round 4 of GTA 2011. I think we should describe it as. We have had a server crash here. Please bear with us as we finish up sorting the grid once again for the final hour of this race. Well, we did have 54 minutes I think we had to go, lads. When unfortunately the server decided that it had had enough for the day, and yeah, well, not very impressed with that, but what can you expect, I guess, just now. Anyway, we have an hour left, we're resetting the grid, and some teams have got pathetically lucky, shall we put it that way,
Yeah.
and some have got painfully unlucky with this whole situation, this whole tyre changing situation, all that.
I'm even hearing a few things about teams that even had engine damage as well, and so all those kind of problems are completely erased. And also, probably the most interesting factor, though, is, apart from the fact that we've got a 1-hour sprint to the finish, is that we're back to using low wind again, which means we could end up with 2 or 20-mile-an-hour winds, which would really shake the whole race up in comparison to the last one, because all the drivers have been driving around for 2 hours on a set conditions with 2 kph winds or whatever it was, and they were getting used to these kind of conditions, whereas now that advantage is completely erased. So drivers who drove less in the normal kind of conditions will be a bit more hampered if the wind turns out to be much stronger than before. I predict. In fact, let's have a betting game, shall we? What do you all predict the wind to be?
Let's say about 15.
Oh yes, of course, different wind. 25.
11.
I'll go with 7.
25. It's low wind.
We all know
But
what
high
happened
range
the
of
last
low.
time we had 25 kilometers an hour of wind, which was last season at KY3, when everyone was sort of crashing.
What's wrong with that? I don't see what the problem is, but here we go.
Away we go. Yep. From pole position.
Had
Oh, it's
2 again.
4 kph wind.
How
What a point this
disappointing
game, but at least I
that.
won the betting thing. I can take that one against you lot.
Now let's bet who's
Latest.
going to win the race.
But we've got Yanni Hagman starting from pole position for TDRT. He'll be lining up on the inside for the rolling start that we'll get after the, shall we say, installation lap before we line up.
Oscar Hardwick has just informed everybody that he has a crisis every time he looks at the genuine racing time. I am aware it was on Whisper, but I thought that everybody might like to know. Especially for genuine racing team. Your car makes Oscar Hardwick happy.
It does. I like the way it looks, I like how quickly it goes, and I think it's the best. Sorry, but that's just my opinion. Maybe not
Crisis.
the best in racing situations, but it looks good and I like it.
Crisis.
Now that we've done that, I've gone very red because I've been publicly embarrassed by a Scottish person.
Ah, don't worry. First, Dominic Angle was shouting at me plenty of times last week after him hearing the Masters of Endurance broadcast, weren't you, Dom?
Yeah, I did, and I promised you already. I'm gonna make
weren't
a
any
list of
tractors
everything
involved,
you
were there?
did wrong. Everything you did wrong in the upcoming 24-hour race in Hanoi.
Well, he spun 3 times behind a bus in IGTC. That was probably the highlight, really, of his...
Twice?
We get a bit...
No, it was once. It was just once. Thank you very much.
At least I saw it live. But we are getting a few... there's a brief little lag spike there from the server, so hope the issues are solved. But luckily with... there surely won't be any drivers connecting for the final hour, because obviously these cars can run to that distance, and with a pace car lap it just makes things a bit easier, so we may have to put up just with the occasional lag spike here and there, which could spice it up. But we've got a 4 km/h headwind going into turn 1, which means it's wind in the southern direction, which may affect a few of the well, actually no, it won't, will it? 4 kph.
4 kph is like an asthmatic blowing on you through a straw.
That's Jeremy Clarkson quote, number 1 of the day.
you need to get one in. You know, it's just the rules.
So down the back straight we go toward the hairpins. There's a certain nervous tension you should always get when you have a restart to a race, because of course these drivers have to be informed by their teams that they're being lapped. Some of these cars will be being lapped, so you know it's going to be quite interesting to see what actually happens here. I remember IGTC 2009 when there was a red flag. Turn number 1 was a disaster, with cars trying to pass slower cars that were lapped, and slower cars not really realising it and just crashing them out.
Yes, but the lapped cars are lining up at the back because that's how the gridding was done.
Fortunately. But also something that's quite a few teams, particularly at the front, who are choosing not really to warm the tyres up that much, and can't really see why well, at this point we've got 57 minutes of the race left. Why would it be heating up your tyres for a good restart? It is a sprint to the flag pretty much, with a 1 hour remaining of the race. But
a final bit of information. The final bit of information is Hagner goes for the restart. The last car on the lead lap is 15th place. Team identity. So here we go. Now performance. Here we go down the front straight. Hagner leads Heiserman, who leads Antonin, who leads Lombardi. We are go for this final sprint to the finish line for GTA Round 4 2011. Hagner has got a good start this time. Heiserman can't quite keep up with him, seeming a bit cautious of this restart this time. Running a little bit wide in turn 1, but they are clear from drunk, and off goes, ooh, who's that? Is that the Serbian Chrome Pistons off the track? I think it is. They've dropped down a few positions now, but a good clean restart for pretty much every car out there so far.
We've got 3 wide in here, but no smoky team going down inside of independent racing mates. You've also got crazy drivers on the outside, also Team Identity want a bit of this. Oh, crazy drivers and independent race mates making contact, going through the Kings. Also smoky team going inside
Identity on the inside. When they make contact.
Oh.
They've kept it together. Credit to them
somehow.
The smoking team goes right around the outside of Serbian Chrome Pistons, but there's a little bit of contact, and Roman Friskop's also going around the outside and taking another position. Relatively clean first lap, should we say. No real major incident. Probably jinxed that one, but nevertheless.
So now it really is just TDRT's race to lose, I think. Well, no, I'm saying the complete wrong thing. Ignore me for a moment while I think of what I was trying to say.
Jenny and a half their fastest
Eduardo
drive
Lane
in
and
for the
Sasha
last
Riga are
hour.
also going side by side towards the hairpin. Sasha gets the run, and Leighton gets the run. Takes the place before the corner, but runs too deep. Oh, he's lost it. He's even stuck on the grass. This won't be a safety car, but he's lost 3-4 positions now, maybe even 5 if Friskops is willing to make a courageous move. But yeah, definitely a setback there for Leighton. He had the run, he had pretty much a car's length ahead of Sasha Riga, and he just didn't pull the move off. He just went in too deep, and that was it. Just a fundamental driver error, but I imagine Sasha will be pretty pleased about that one. Also we've got Vince Lombardi as well, making some inroads on Drunk Team as well. Vince Lombardi and Deep Drive Racing, they were also they were pretty fortunate with all the pit stops. They made a few places up with the server crash and other things, but they're going up the that was a fairly bold move, going up the inside when the gap just wasn't there. But Vince Lombardi goes into 3rd place, a very strong performance for the new team, the Drunk Team, and Dentworth all good. It was a little bit wide, but luckily should be able to recover that one.
I like Fortzing Hammer on a bit of a charge, actually. Here comes Gravity Racing now, Gahammer.
thinking that the grip of the FXR might be able to do this one. Yeah.
Quite a few teams actually are willing to give the challenging car the inside line going into that corner, but I don't think that's really wise because it's really hard to try and cut back there. I don't really see it as a potential move, but quite a few teams are doing it, so they're obviously confident of maybe the car going in too deep and just hoping that the camp will have to switch back, but it looks very difficult from what I've saw looking at the stream.
Here's a ball buster for everybody out there. 3 out of the top 4 are FXRs. 5 out of the top 6. No, sorry, 5 out of the top 7 are FXRs.
Wow.
Sorry, 4 out of 6. What? Okay, so I just completely ruined my wonderful point. 4 out of top 6.
But it's still a tremendous argument because that's over half of the
well, half
really.
Half of the top 10 is FXRs.
That's just really quite phenomenal. There's not too many XRRs in the field, and for XRRs that they're out of had really sufficient problems during the race. But yeah. Oh, and some interesting driving from Modestus Runas. He's got a completely hot right front tyre, and he's driving very strangely. We saw this at the previous race.
His left front bumper's broken.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I missed that one. So
that's probably the first chicane doing it again, isn't it?
Yeah, it did cause a yellow flag in sector 1, so it must have been the case. But yeah, days go from bad to worse for Deadline, and also got Smoking Team going down the inside of Timo Hoover for 7 Karat, making a very clean pass and getting a good drive out of the corner and taking the place. Also a 3-car draft at the moment, which I've just put on the screen between in front. Oh, Sonic Realms Racing taking a very, very aggressive weave there and forcing the Serbian Chrome Pistons into them, and that also hampered the Crazy Drivers team as well. We got Runas off again with his broken number, but some very aggressive weaving there from Yanni Tormana, very late. Didn't really look all that justified, but well, they both got away with it, so be a bit more fortunate. We've also had what looks to be a collision between Angel Power Racing and Gentles on circuit. Both are now continuing running after an off-track excursion.
Robin Friscott's driving around the outside of Timo Hoofer.
Oh, that was a brave move. Just caught the end of that on the stream. Sorry we couldn't get the whole incident. It was just a bit too late on that one, but very bold move there from Robin Friscott's up to 9th place.
And
Hammer hounding Lombard. Oh, and rest of back of Serbian
Pistons are.
There are a few server lag problems again, and also Runas has had enough after Deadline's really unlucky race today. Very unfortunate to them, but hopefully they'll be back for the next race. And yeah, Serbian Chrome Pistons losing it as well with the timeout.
Yeah, and Timo Hoover has got the slipstream of Friscops again.
Oh, that's a bold move. Is it gonna?
Oh yeah, and some additional contact at the exit of the corner. Still got this one on stream side by side going into the second hairpin in the sector 3 complex. Robin Friscott taking a very wide line, but he's never really going to pull the cutback doing that.
Yeah, I think he got a little bit stuck on the curve there, and that's just what sort of spat him slightly. As Gahammer comes through for 3rd position, a slight mistake by Lombardi, and it's 3rd position for Gahammer. Can he challenge for this win still?
I think the front 2 are just too quick. I mean, we've saw in the race so far how TDRT and Genuine have really, along with Gravity, being a class of their own. I think, well, let's see what the gap is across the start-finish line. The gap is...
Well, with Genuine catching up to TDRT, surely if they start battling, that'll hold them up and give Gahammer a chance.
5 seconds is the gap. Oh,
Hanger's made an error. Hanger
really... Serbian Chrome with a really unsafe pit exit, rejoining straight
Sorry,
in the middle of the pack.
Sorry. Right, Hagner has made a mistake, and Heiserman is right behind him all of a sudden. Right, once again, it looked a little bit closer a moment ago. I think Heiserman got on the power slightly too early out the turnover, well, the hairpin corner, when this was back straight. Hagner just staying in front just now.
Robin Friscop's making yet another move. He's once again going for Thibaut Hoover. The two cars going side by side again. Eduardo Leighton wants to piece this. He's just backing off there, but cutting two cars draft. Yanni Tourmler making a bold move. And just taking the place from Eduardo Leighton, far from gaining the place, has lost one. Some additional contact as well between Tourmler and Thibaut Hoover.
Thomas got to be careful because I think he is a lap down. Oh well,
yeah, actually,
there you go.
It is some very aggressive driving, considering Sonic Realms are a lap down. So
I guess he does sort of have to make his own race. Oh, Leighton and Hoover there. Hoffer.
Hoover.
German names.
This is sort of the vacuum.
He's had a pretty good drive actually, Hoover. Timo. Well, go Timo!
Gavin's got a broken left front suspension.
What did that happen? How? He done that? He didn't have that a minute ago.
He went off in the first chicane.
It didn't really look like that,
but he did. He went off. It must have been that. He's not been off anywhere else.
It's the only explanation, but we've caught that one pretty late. He's also using the handbrake to try and get it turned in.
Hoffer. He's obviously had an incident somewhere and he's been spun round. Oh, and we've got Craven off as well.
Okay, Hammer's off again.
Oh, now
Jan right in the path of Jan Lapperot
versus Hammer.
Actually, outbrakes him with a front left damper.
Bump. I think he's going to have to pit with that. The tyre's just knocking on ours.
Yeah, and I think in he comes now. Yeah,
and there we go.
Enough. Really a shame there for Rarity because, as Chris said, there still was a possibility that they could catch the leaders, but let's go.
Vulcan team and Tiger Express battling down the straight now.
Smoky team getting the job done. Still a pretty strong drive from Tiger Express as a whole, and Jan really in that first stint did make up some really good ground, and it's quite good to see them up there, really performing well in that FXR. Just yet another team who really outperforming the car that they're given.
Now I think it is more a case of Riegler and Antonin pulling up to Lombardy as far as podium positions and racing is concerned. Let's have a look at the first split times: 50.0 and a 49.9 and a 50. Lombardi is actually just about holding his own against Riegler and pulling away from Tutiabi.
Yeah, the new team is sitting very pretty up there in their first race. I mean, to get a podium at a track like this would just be a really great achievement, and they have drove well today. They've been consistent and quick through the whole thing. We haven't really saw them causing many problems or suffering problems, so it's a good all-round drive, it has to be said. Oh, and Yanni Tourmler going through the tyres in the long left-hander. That was a bit of a leery moment there. He's currently driving on some very hot R2 tyres at the moment. I'd hate to regret it, but I'm 90% sure that's a setup that I made. So I'm quite disappointed to see the tyres getting as hot as that. But looking really unpleasant to drive at this stage, and quite a few mistakes.
Our sets are normally quite unpleasant to drive, to be really honest, Simon.
I'll never get a chance to make any, but for the ones that I have made, granted.
In other news, Smoking Team are absolutely charging towards the back of Drunk Team.
As long as we don't get another Passo-esque pun, then I'm all for that.
I wasn't aware that it was a Passo-esque pun, but I stand corrected.
All I can think of is when you're drunk you like a fag, so you're smoking. Or Smoking Team, we're smoking them right now!
I'm sure he'd be giggling watching this now, Chris.
How do you do a lisped giggle? Just look at how much Hagner and Heijman have pulled away from everybody else.
Yeah, it's just a case of everyone really falling off behind them, and they're just allowed to cruise away from first and second from the word go, and they've just made that gap. Hagner getting the fastest lap in this portion of the race, 42.6, which are really respectable heat peak times we set during the tyres' hottest stage. So yeah, and Genuine are right up there with them, keeping with the pace. But it'd be a brave man who bet against one of these two teams not winning the race, unless of course we do get a safety car.
Oh, look at this now. We've got TDRT under severe pressure from Heijman again. He seems to close up in the hairpins, which I'm quite surprised about. Yeah, this is quite interesting. Oscar Hardwick blocks messages because he's clearly getting a crisis from the Genuine skid again.
I don't really know how to react to that anymore.
Oh, we've got Hoover up. Timo Hoover for 7 Carreras has had yet another incident in these recent laps. He's currently stuck in a really big mid pack and got a nice toasty little clutch, but not really the best of start. 7 Carrera have really dropped out.
I wonder if he's taken clean out, man.
There we go.
And we've got Falkenhayn and Brestrovic.
Heijman and Hagner just made contact into the hairpin.
Did they?
Yes.
No, they didn't.
It looked like they did from where I was watching.
Oh, we've got Robin Friskups as well. For
Yeah,
Team
but he's got his draft.
Heijman. Contact. Heijman. Hagner.
Oh, there we go.
Whoa! And Heijman takes the lead, and I completely missed one for a change.
I wasn't saying their names just out of fun.
Shut up, Oscar. You should have commentated it yourself. I thought you were just talking to yourself about how great the Genuine skid was again. But there we go, Genuine Racing back in control of this race. Completely missed by myself because I was reading IRC. And there we go.
And badly reported by me.
Terribly reported by you. Heijman, contact. Hagner, no contact. Oh, look at that. Oh, they've taken the lead. Okay, thank you very much, Oscar. That was great commentary.
I try my best, Chris.
I wonder if Hagner can quite get close enough to the back of Oscar's crisis skin.
I just know that that's going to be its nickname forever now.
The white is your fun part, isn't it?
Oh dear.
Yeah, okay, right.
Can we
back
talk
off
about the racing?
We've got to get off the skid again and say that Heijman really is pulling away from Hagner's now with 40 minutes to go in this race, and I get the feeling that this race is slipping away from the day's race team unless they could quickly get back on the trail of Heijman again.
That's a really interesting technique. Something I just spotted there through the hairpins is that Hagner holds on the brakes and stamps on the throttle during the corner exit, obviously to spoil up the turbo, but it's quite an interesting technique. I don't usually see that very often, but yeah, it's quite weird. Surely it caused the car to understeer a bit. Oh, Yanni Tommela's off. Yeah, another excursion. Turn 1. Does seem to be SR's favourite corner of the day, it has to be said. Particularly
well,
for
the grass suits the skin a lot, so...
Oh yeah. Blends in so nice.
Oh wow! What on earth is Ruiz doing? What in the name of all this holy is Fubar Racing doing? Are they? I'm not sure if they're battling for position, but they completely lost the corner. Fubar Racing, who are under severe repercussions if they do something stupid like that again. And wow! Down into the turn 1 chicane, Ruiz just drove right to try and do a bit of a Michael Schumacher, but a bit worse than what Schumacher did to Barrichello, because there was actually contact on the way into turn 1. I was trying to avoid letting Hammer have the corner. He just drove way too late to drive down like that. That was not needed and quite sickening, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean they're already 2 laps down as well, so it's not really something you want to really be seeing.
I don't really see the point of fighting a car that's 3 seconds a lap quicker on the previous lap at least.
Hagner sticking with Heijman for the time being.
Yeah, and then down in 3rd place, it seems like Vince Lombardi is suffering a bit from his rather warm front tyres, and all the 4 cars behind him are catching him up. I'm sorry, I'm in 3 cars behind him.
Well, in the before the red flag, Vince was actually behind all these cars on track. They were just all made the pit stop, so Vince was ahead. So yeah, obviously just not that comfortable, and did get a bit fortunate with the red flag, and I'm sure those lot will be really eager to get that final podium place. To quote Chris Ford, we've got yet more bus wars on track. It's about between David Junt and independent racemates going into turn 1. But David Junt looks like he's just about got the place. Sweeps it into turn 1, and that's the place taken.
This would be Genuine's first... Stupid blooming cough. Anyway, this would be... Shut up, Oscar. This would be Genuine's first victory in GTA, wouldn't it, lads?
Yes,
Yeah.
it would.
I mean, they have deserved to win in the past, but it's nice to see them really so far up now, so close to the finish as well, and very good contention for the win. But Hagner really is pushing. He's trail braking on corner exit, so he's really really pushing at this stage just to get every little ounce of out of that turbo to get himself quicker on the corner exits and catch up to the car ahead. A 2:41.8 for genuine racing. That is by far the quickest lap on the circuit right now. Only Hagner is even really close, and Sasha Riegler. It's just looking very likely at this stage, but still half an hour left, and any dangerous cone lurking in turn 1 could still cause some suspension woes, so it's not over yet.
Oh,
can't get
Timo
past.
Hoover in the pits? Or...
The vacuum's decided to make a scheduled stop.
Can we just call him Henry?
That's probably a better solution. I'll go with that.
Actually, do have a battle developing between Lombardi and Riegler for third position just now.
Yep, it was only a matter of time before Sasha Riegler would be staring at the number plate of that deep drive racing car.
Also, drunk and smoking are having a battle of wits.
And also Friskov's, Tormala and Laparot are all bunched up together. In fact, Tormala may even have a run. Let's bring the camera on him so you can all see. Here we go, Tormala on Friskov's. He's backing off now. He's obviously not confident of going 3 wide into that corner, but some smart thinking there from Tormala. Obviously just waiting for another better opportunity to arise. Here we go. The smoking team have got the run on their Finnish compatriots of drunk team, going up the inside for the kink, but they'll be on the outside for turn 1, so they have to sweep it around there and have faith in the on drunk team's intentions.
I think they should just get the job done. I don't think drunk team are going to be able to come round. Nope.
Yeah.
Then they drive it hard enough to back off again, with smoking team up into third position.
5th.
Sorry, 5th. I was thinking of Lombardi again. Riegler's actually dropped off back to Lombardi.
It looks like his front's actually under control now. His pace is back to normal.
Eichmann, on the other hand, has really started to put the hammer down and pull away from Hagner.
Yeah, and things are only just going to get better from there with those FZR tyres. Oh, then again, Hagner's not in big anymore either, so, and he's still doing 49.5 in split 1, which, to put it in perspective, is identical to Heidemann. And you've still got the slow speed sections in the final part of the track yet to come.
"28 minutes of round 4 of GTL 2011 to go, and the closest battle on track now is actually going to be Jan Laprovot against Friskops for Team Identity, so TM versus Team Identity. But in the way they've kind of got Joni Tormola, and we're on Joni Tormola just now. Tormola, who is a lap down, but not because, well, there's no blue flags or anything, but he sort of just overtook Team Identity again because he is faster at the moment than them. But he's sort of gone off the road twice on this lap, but here comes Team Identity past. So Team Identity are losing out, SR are losing out, and Jan Laprovot must have a bit of a smile on his face just now.
Jan still set the slowest split of 3 though.
Here we go again with Friskops and Tormola. Yeah, it's not really helping either of these teams just now, but Friskops doesn't really seem to have the pace. And he's defending for Tormola. I just don't see the point in Friskops defending. I mean, Tormola's quicker and he'll get on the back of Laprovot. So instead of sort of sitting about waiting for Tormola to fail a little bit, he should just sort of sit back and
Friskops up.
Stop falling off the road himself.
I think the two of them really are making just small mistakes, which is allowing them to maintain the gap between them. And of course,
yeah, I think if Friskops sort of went, okay, right, I'll just sort of stay back a little bit and let Tormola battle Jan, or overtake Jan in a probably dodgy position, then I'll benefit more than anybody. But at the moment, he seems to be sort of trying to get on the back of Laprovot, and then every time I've seen him get on the back of Laprovot, he's made a silly error. So yeah, he needs to calm down a little bit at the moment.
I think he's got it back to go now.
In fact, Tormola pretty quickly onto the back of Jan Laprovot for Tiger Express, who currently sitting in 7th place. Tormola's just letting him know he's there. Just pulling out slightly, but putting his wheels on the gravel, which means he can't make any move in the near future.
You should be able to get the draft up the hill.
And around the bend.
Up. Yeah, exactly, after going around this bend. There we go.
There we go. Oh, Jan does actually move across slightly, but I think he's aware that Yanni will be a lap down. He is in contact with teammates, so I'm pretty sure he'll be aware of what's going on, and I think they can allow now Joni Tormola to pull away.
And Michael pulling back up to Lombardi again.
This has brought Friskops right into the back of this now. Quickly,
once again, Friskops got to the back of Laprovot and made a mistake, so, you know.
He's also suffering with his rear tyres as well. It was the setup that him and teammate Alan Terzic did make just, well, not even too long before the race actually, so not surprised to see just a few teething problems with it at different points of the stint, but, well, with the R2s it should be very, very good at like the 40th minute onwards. Also cracking lap there from Sasha Riga, 41.4, very, very, very close to the fastest lap of the race, and still not in the optimum peak of the tyres, so still should be plenty more to come from the core driver. And in fact, he's caught almost a second that lap alone on Vince Lombardi, so the podium position is under threat, and we've got Friskops off in turn 1 again. In fact, he's lost place to Eduardo Leighton. So far from catching Jan Laprovot, he's now down to 10th place, really not going well at this point. And also Raptor Racing, the pole sitters who are a lap down after the first lap antics mean that they're not really in this fight, but still staying in the slipstream of Friskops. Here comes Friskops at the inside of Leighton now.
Yep, once again Friskops sort of catching up to the back of Labravot and then failing. He's got past Leighton again though. Anyway, quite a quiet end to this race in many ways. It's also starting to get spread out a little bit more, but we do actually have a nice battle. I've just noticed.
As you said that.
Sasha.
Yep.
Beat you to
Lombardi and Riegler.
Both going very quickly at the moment. Lombardi almost responding to Riegler's pace.
Yeah, he's finding pace from anywhere he can find it. He's pulling it out of his hat, as Mr. Wilkinson said earlier. So his top hat.
He's pulling it out of many places, as far as I can see.
Hagner really doesn't have a response at the moment to Heidgerman's pace. Heidgerman's consistently doing high 41s and low 42s, and yeah, the FXR of Hagner can just do nothing about it at this point in the stint. But Sasha is still very close on Lombardi. Wouldn't surprise me if we don't see an overtake in the near future.
And will Riegler have the... No, he's not got the run on Lombardi this time, but he is still very close.
That FZR really does pull it back on the straights, but
Oh,
you can't really do much about the corner exit.
Lombardi.
Lombardi, yeah, very, very, very wide in that corner. Oh, we got Fubara.
No, let's
Fubara
not even discuss that. Let's just not bother with that. It was not necessarily a driving mistake. Anyway, so yeah, Lombardi really doing a good job to hold Riegler off again.
You can tell just by the condition of the tyres really how much Vince Lombardi's pushing at this point in the stint. Really good health there, and a very good split as well, as Hydran gets the fastest lap back off core racing.
And Vince Lombardi almost beat the fastest lap.
41.88, that's a very, very respectable
by
time.
a long way. And to be honest, it's a pretty stunning show from Lombardi so far.
Oh, we're going to come up to the name. Yanni Tourmala's upside down. He's flipped at turn 1 and he's sliding through the middle of the track. And we've got our second safety car of the day.
Now everybody's going to have stone cold tyres. Brilliant.
So that's basically the first 2 people in the championship DNF'd.
So that was a broken front right damper for Yanni Tourmala. I wonder how he managed to break that damper. Usually it's the left front damper that's the most exposed in the turn 1 chicane, unless he clipped the hay bales or the cone that's on the exit of the corner.
Stack.
Yeah, because
Oof, it's going to be quite interesting, this restart that's coming up here, because of course with the leader being FZR and second place being FXR, out that final hairpin, Hydra was going to take it very, very cautiously, because that FXR is going to get the drive.
so as we see the field pass through the upside down car of Yanni Tourmala, we can see the beautifulness of the Gurdon design skid in action.
So there goes Yanni Tourmala leaving the server.
See, Dom, you should have.
I think it would have crashed a lot earlier than that.
I think it's been a very interesting debut for Sonic Realms for Yanni. He's had blistering pace. We saw that particularly at the end of the stint, but also quite a few rookie mistakes and quite a few incidents. Well, we know the incident with Team Identity and him being a lap down, but also other incidents. But yeah, quite an interesting debut for Yanni. He wasn't the most prepared driver for the race, but he's had his fair share of fun out there.
And it wasn't his debut because he did MOE last week.
GTL debut there.
Just as a side note for everybody, last car not lapped is car 02, which is Team Hoffer. How many more laps will we get of fun safety cars? We've only got 13 minutes to go. I only have about 30 minutes to go before I need to run and get a train.
Relevant.
Very. Oh, in fact, 02 is going to go off the track under safety car and into the wall.
Just got that on the stream. Hoover running very wide, obviously eager to catch up to the pack, but well, he won't do it doing that sort of thing. Although, in fairness, Timo Hoover will have an advantage because when he catches up to the pack, he'll have pretty warm tyres. And with those warm tyres, it's entirely possible that he can make some moves with some better grip through the corners. It's something we could possibly keep an eye on. More telling though are the really cold tyres from the front two, Genuine Racing and TRT. Both Heidemann and Hagner have pretty cold front and rear tyres, and they're not really making substantial efforts to try and warm them up. So some interesting tactics going on there, but there's still a lap to go in the safety car conditions that they're able to warm up the tyres, presuming that the safety car will come in what is unofficially now this lap rather than next lap. And yet there is confirmation that safety car will be in on this lap. So approximately 3 or 4 minutes until we're back racing for a lovely little 10-minute shootout for the finish.
So let's just take a quick look at our safety car for the day. No, let's not. It's been changed for some reason from when I put it on the safety car. Stuart Baker again doing a great job. And we've got a board flying through the track for some reason. So this is the green flag lap. Oh, and we've got Hagner going off, and is Lombardi going to get through? No, he's not quite. Hagner went off the track on the straight, trying to warm his tyres up, and Lombardi almost got through it up into second position. But here we go, the safety car will be coming in. It's going to be Heidemann and Hagner, then Lombardi and Riegler in this race.
Heidemann's tyres are absolutely ice cold at this point. I really don't understand that decision. He's still got sufficient tread, I think. And for a 9-minute shootout, it's a bit risky, but saying that if he can get a good leap off the start, then it's entirely possible that he can keep the lead. With that pace he was running towards just before the safety car came out, it's a possibility.
68 kilometers an hour. Heidemann holds the pace of the safety car. Weaving. Tyre warming should be stopped by now though, but here we go. Heidemann settles his car down into the chicane. Lombardi right behind Hagner, looking racy in this race. When will Heidemann go? Will Hagner be able to get the jump with better traction out this hairpin?
On the past 2 restarts, the leaders have gone pretty early and out of this final corner where Heidemann's approaching now, so maybe he just wants to try something a little different and try to surprise Hagner.
Still waiting,
Oh,
waiting,
there we go.
still waiting. There we go! There we go!
Right.
Heigerman
He's
gets
got
a
the
good
jump.
restart. I think he's just got enough of a jump over Hanger, and that could be crucial for the rest of this race. We think we've got a crash
massive
though.
crash.
No, we don't.
Oh, it's yellow flag pain.
Anyway, Heigerman gets the jump, and he's doing weaves down the
warming up
start
his
finish
tyres.
straight, trying to get his tyres to warm up, because those tyres are stone cold. This is the chance the Hanger needs to try and get at Heigerman with cold tyres. That FXR is much better than his FZR. Can he do it?
Even Vince Lombardi's getting in on this as
Lombardi
well. Look at the
right
inside
up on
of
the
Hagner.
curb. It seems to be a three-way, because I think Hanger's got
Hanger's
the draft. He's more than got the draft. He's all over the back of Heigerman. He's going for the outside line. Heigerman's defending the inside, but we've got a left-hand kick before that. I think that Hanger's going to be able to stay ahead. I think he's going to get him, but Heigerman's coming back at him now. He has the inside line for this right-hander. Is he going to be able to hold the lead for Genuine Racing? He does, just so far. Hanger tries to go right around the outside. He's going to do it.
Oh,
No, Heigerman just
close.
holds on and squeezes him out, and there comes Vince Lombardi now into this right-hander. Hanger and Lombardi are both in the draft. Heigerman has clear air, and Heigerman holds the lead just still for Genuine Racing. But there's still a chance. There's still a chance for these two FXRs. They could scent the blood of the FZR with its cold and thin tyres. They could scent a famous victory at Aston.
absolutely true. Those two FXRs looking pretty racy.
Here we go
at this
again,
stage.
here we go
Hagner's
again
got
off the
another
corner.
run.
He's got the run again, and here we go, right down the back straight. Heigerman will have to defend to the inside. He does. Hanger cannot go around the outside. He's going to have, surely. Oh, Lombardi's got on the inside of Hanger. They're going to make contact.
no.
No, Lombardi.
Hagner's gone. Hagner's
No,
gone.
Lombardi.
That was
Lombardi.
a good move.
And Vince
There we
Lombardi
go.
has once
Vince
again
has already
produced
lost
stupidity in
momentum.
GTL. Because there was
So
no way that move was going to come off. And poor old the Danish racing team are right back now.
So the battle for the lead now is between Sasha Riegler and Heigerman from Genuine Racing. Sasha's really been a dark horse. He's not really propped up much during the race. He's got a few fastest laps, but looking very racy there.
Smoking team nipped into third position. I'm not sure if they're lapped down on the tracker though.
I don't think they are. I think Smoky Team have been up there really the whole time. That's a very hard end place, but Vince Lombardi's back yet again, and he's got the run.
Hopefully
Here we
it'll be
go
more
then.
sensible this time. They're trying to overtake a car in a place that was never going to happen. Looks like as though he has the run on Smoking Team back for third position. But I'd be pretty convinced that that would be a penalty for Lombardi if the Danish racing team do decide to make that protest. Lombardi moves up back into third position. It looks like Smoking Team should just get out of it, and they do, down into turn number 1.
It was an ambitious move. I mean, Hagner was at that point in the draft of Heigerman, who on cold front tyres really didn't have the grip in the corners and in the corner, and Hagner really did lose out quite a lot from that. But I think it was just too optimistic from that point. Vince could have easily got a very good run on the straight and overtaken to the head, but it wasn't really necessary, and I'd probably agree that a penalty on Vince Lombardi is probably in order.
Yeah, it was pretty poor driving once again from Lombardi. Remember the last race of Fernbay, he had a few incidents as well. Well, he doesn't seem to learn, does Vince Lombardi. And once again, he is at the centre of controversy and poor old Danish racing team who are now way back.
It's a shame for both of them, because both of them have really had stunning races for the whole thing. TDRT have been probably the most strongest team out there for the whole race. They're the only team who's really been up there. Even Genuine Racing have had a few up and downs, but yeah, very unfortunate for TDRT. And Vince has drove very well today. He's still up there in third, but yeah, that incident kind of mars the whole experience. At the moment, Heigerman just looks in a class of his own. 3/10 up on the first split alone from Sasha Riegler, and the gap's looking ever bigger at the front.
Yeah, seems Heigerman just has enough. I think that we will have 2 more laps of this race. It seems Heigerman just has the pace to hold off Riegler, who is being hunted actually down the straight by Lombardi and Smoking Team again. Whoa, hello. Lombardi's like right up with Riegler. So this is a battle for second position on track now. Here we go with Lombardi.
Oh, we got just caught on stream that there's a collision between David Judd and the driver of Crazy Drivers.
Crazy
right
Drivers
front
are
puncture,
having
yeah.
a puncture right from.
Oh yeah. Oh, that must have been pretty unexpected because they had really sufficient braking powers that must have happened in the hairpin. I didn't really catch that one.
I'm sorry to go back to the leaders again because it looks as though Lombardi's looking for Sasha Riegler's draft down the front straight. In fact, this should be the final lap.
Very racy.
This should be the final lap of GTAL Round 4 2011 with Heigerman leading for Genuine Racing Team. Are they finally going to claim their first win? Riegler trying to hold off Lombardi. Lombardi seems to have lost a bit on the straight there actually, so looking good for Riegler at the moment. They'll bounce through that chain one more time, finally. Trying to stop, trying not to roll like Joni Tormla. Heigerman, Riegler, Lombardi, your top three. It looks as though we've got a battle between Identity and Drunk.
Yep, very close battle. XR does have the extra bit of power on the straight, so he's just using that to his advantage, keeping the inside line, and that looks very much like a lost cause for Drunk Team. Unless he's a bit slow in the mid corner, but no, he holds it together. Frisk up to the top 5 yet again.
So I guess we can take our attention back to Heigerman now. He is half a lap away from the victory. Should we start to sum up today's race, guys? Simon, what's your overriding thoughts of this race as it comes to its conclusion?
My main thought is probably just how really strong the FXRs looked. I mean, there are very capable teams out there who've really made the most of what it's worth, but I really didn't expect it to even be challenging for top 5s, let alone for the victory. TDRT have been in there, even Vince Lombardi, Smoking Team have looked impressive, even Tiger Express as well. It's been a really interesting sight to see so strong at a track where it's been so underrated, so criticised, and yeah, it's really given a lot of opportunities for some of the teams out there to really perform out of the skin.
Dominic Angle.
It's been quite an action-packed race actually. Yeah, and the top runners in the championship had really a lot of bad luck if you look at Inferno and SR. So yeah, actually that's a very, very, very unexpected outcome on that, not to see the usual top teams on top this time.
Oscar, I'll let you sum up after this race, but here comes Genuine Racing. They've led most of the season, to be perfectly fair, but they've never taken the checker flag now. But here, round 4, Aston Grand Touring reversed. Genuine Racing take the checkered flag after 3 hours, and it's a fantastic win for Genuine Racing, and they really are a championship contender this season. Second place for Core Racing, third for
Vince Lombardi with Deep Drive.
Deep Drive Racing, fourth for Smoking Team, fifth for Team Identity after, well, quite an interesting